are, I believe, what, 7 of you at the moment. I I think that you will have ample opportunities to correct for any problems.
Okay, great.
Okay, so when last we saw our brave adventurers, they had had a rather exciting evening.
That's certainly
Uh,
one way of putting it.
Oh my god.
It was wonderful. We
Oh
all
boy.
made
they had
memories.
We
just,
experienced a miracle.
after Cyrenixia's arrest due to her racketeering, um, she was placed in prison and interrogated for several hours by the Tranquil. Due to her incredible strength of will, she prevented them from gaining any substantial information from her beyond her most surface memories of the past few days. The rest of the group, concerned about her capture and still needing the information that the pirate Price had, decided to break her out in a daring raid on the stockade. This was accomplished, however, it was not done without bloodshed or without notice. And the party ended up fleeing the burning stockade onto the decks of the Inherited, uh, which has since made it offshore. We will return to our group of misfits, uh, as you are all. It's in the evening, and you guys have, we'll say, it's been about 15 to 20 minutes since you guys made good on your escape. You're now out in the reasonably open ocean on board the ship. There's quite a bit of hustle and bustle as the crew is moving back and forth, very clearly hastily put together. There are still crates and barrels that are totally unsecured on deck, and Captain Harker is running back and forth, ordering people about. Is is there anyone who is interested in taking this opportunity of distraction by her and the crew to talk about something amidst all of you? Or what is everyone doing?
Um,
I'm just gonna go dip and just sulk.
No.
That's about it
um,
for here.
I'm going to sort of check up on everyone and start healing whom I need to heal. Uh, I bought 2 healers kits, so I have 40 uses of stuff. I believe I've only used 2, maybe. So,
Okay.
and then while doing that, I'm just going to inwardly grumble about these children. Because
I
I'm
think
300 years old, and you're all kids.
I think Cyrenixia is definitely not yet directly approaching anyone and finding a nice,
But I mean,
quiet place to
you're
sit.
wounded, so
And
I'm going straight to you to start healing.
okay, so you're approaching and
I mean, I could.
attempting.
I don't know. I still have like 39 uses, so I'm not sure if it's worth it. But I would probably do it. Or Orentha. I don't know. Never mind, sorry. I'm just kind of like fuss over them. Since they heal
Okay.
overnight, and I would know that.
What's Arentha doing?
Arentha's. I want to try to climb to the top of the mast.
You can certainly do so. You'll see that there is basically like a webbing of rope that is strung all throughout, and you can easily make it up the mizzen mast to the crow's nest at the
Oh,
top.
Cool. Is there anyone following us?
Make a perception check. It's pretty dark, and you don't have dark vision.
Nope.
oh, right, Jack. Um, Those eyes that were following
Okay.
me last time.
So you look out and you see the glimmering lights of the city as the ship sails off into the darkness. You have a pretty good wind behind you, so you're making good time. You don't see any ships or anything following you, but it's really hard to tell. All you see is like that big clump of light that is Guavira, and then the darkness of the ocean at night. It's eerily black, um, and for once you can't recall it ever really being this dark before on land. Normally, there's a little bit of definition to it, but here it's just the roiling waves just scatter and break up any light that does seep through the heavy cloud cover, and it's just this encompassing darkness. Trindak, how do you feel about uh this little voyage?
I'm feeling kind of weird because the last time I've been on a ship in this fashion, I was running away from a person I think I murdered and from my clan. So I'm kind of just like, I'm just curled up in a corner, just like thinking
Gotcha.
about it.
Okay. And to the rest of you, Nyx, what are you doing?
Nyx is currently standing, leaning up against the railing at the stern of the ship, kind of staring in the direction we came from. His back is currently to basically everyone, so you can't really see his face. And he's being real quiet.
Okay.
And Jack, I just remembered that there were eyes following me. So do I still see
Yeah.
those?
Why don't you make a perception check? Do you have dark vision at all?
No. But they were
Okay.
glowy, weren't they?
No.
They were.
They did glow in the night from what you saw before.
So perception?
Yeah, perception. Okay. So you're looking out closely towards the darkness. You're squinting there, and you don't see sort of any of the glowing light. You do recall, however, that the eyes that you saw that were sort of glowing were physically set into the face of the lieutenant,
Right.
just above her normal eyes.
Correct.
They weren't hovering in midair or anything. So your suspicion is that any physical uh, accompaniment is tied to people.
To people?
So
Like to the.
you don't think those eyes were something that could move in and of themselves.
Got it. Okay.
Um, okay, so everyone is just sitting quietly. Jamra will sort of look. He'll stand still for a moment and then go and assist some of the workers bolting things into place on the deck. His hair begins to glow brighter and it sheds light in about 20 feet around him as he does this, giving them a little bit of light to work with.
If anybody's paying attention, you notice Cyrenixia is still like sitting with her back to that little bit of deck there, kind of hunched over with her head in her hands in a very like. Normally she has very good posture and is all set, and she's just like sort of hunched over, sitting clearly distressed and not happy.
Okay. And so you all continue on into the night. It's as the time passes, there's a little bit of the adrenaline begins to seep away, and there's just left this sense of disillusionment and concern about what is happening going forward. Price is probably the one sole exception to this. She is beaming. She is standing in the middle of the deck, and occasionally barking an order to someone about how to best to fix a crate or and there is a moment where Harker just gives her a baleful glare, and snaps at her to go check the rudder, which she will listen to, but she has a real spring in her step as she hurries to the back of the ship. Does anyone confront her at all or speak to her?
Is it Price that's really happy?
Oh yeah, Price. She's super happy.
Wonder why.
She better have some good intel.
I still have no interest in her whatsoever.
Okay.
So
I'm just gonna sulk and pet Jasper very quietly.
Okay.
Would you say that this ship is fully crewed?
It's tough to tell because there's a real chaos of activity around you. And it's pretty dark as well, and the only light is from either the oil lanterns or Jamra's hair. But there are definitely a bunch of crew members on. You suspect that she didn't have time to get a complete crew, but equally, you probably could sub in for certain roles if need be. Um, you Are you trying to like look at or speak to any of the crew in particular, or are you just sort of trying to get a sense for the general state of the
Yeah,
ship?
just a sense.
Why don't you make an investigation check?
I'm just not good at it.
Okay. Um, you get the sense as you look around and you survey a bit of the motley lot that these were not exactly this is not exactly the finest crew Guavira has ever assembled. It seems like the finest crew that could be assembled in about 45 minutes from the contents of the local bars,
Sounds like our party.
which is
Yes.
Accurate.
as Jommer will indicate if you ask exactly what they did.
So,
Um,
so do the people on board like look like they know how to do
so
a hangover?
you look around and you see the people know seem to at least be familiar with the concepts. There is a dwarven what appears to be a dwarven man just from stature. It's really tough to see in the dark, given that you don't have dark vision and there's very limited sources of light right now. He seems to be a swarthy skinned dwarven man, with with a single arm, and he he's gruffly barking orders to the whole crew, and you sort of realize over the course of a couple minutes that he's probably the first mate that has been selected for this. Um, and then you also noticed, given their comparative bulks, it's fairly clear that there is another Dragonborn on the crew as well. Um, this tall, um, white-scaled Dragonborn that has some nasty scars along his snout, snout,
Nope.
snout,
You
along his um, who also seems to be pretty fairly skilled in setting things together. He seems to be working with the lines right now and rigging them properly to best get the wind in the sails. And over the course of about an hour, the activity is going to die down.
what's
Um,
Solaris doing?
Oh,
so
that's,
that is a good question.
mhm.
What was the course of your night before this, if you know? Like, what do you do on an ordinary evening? What does Zellars do on an ordinary evening?
um, not much, I guess. She kind of keeps to herself.
Hmm.
If she weren't necessarily on the boat right now, she would probably be wandering on her own, looking around, not necessarily looking for anything, but just exploring on her own. So I
Okay.
guess right now she's just, I guess I'm already towards the back. So would just be like on the side, looking over the railing over here,
Okay.
just kind of
If
looking out into the water.
on an average night when she is in the city, is there anything that she does to relax or
Um,
to collect her thoughts?
she has this lute that she brought from home. She's not necessarily good at playing it, but sometimes she just like plucks some strings, haphazardly, just to hear some noise, relax a little bit. So
Hmm.
I think she's usually carrying that like on her back or something like that. I don't remember my description because it's been so
Okay.
long. But yeah, she's just kind of on her
Well,
own by herself.
considering that, perhaps what happened over the course of this past night, you were out down by the shore, plucking your lute and uh, collecting your thoughts, listening to the twang, um, when perhaps you saw a little bit of commotion down by the docks,
Mm.
and recognized
But
some
just a little bit.
just a little bit of
Just a
fire
little
and
bit.
destruction.
Oh, good.
and and you noticed your friends rushing towards this ship and making ready to set off. Um, Given that you are a druid and have the ability to change your form,
Mm.
what form do you think you would have chosen when you set off in pursuit of your friends?
Um, hmm.
Mine.
Maybe I would have taken the form of a bird so I
Okay.
could fly to my friends.
Mine.
Seagull.
Okay. So
Yes,
do you
I'm
think a
gonna take
seagull or
the.
an albatross or something?
I'll go with a
Pelican.
seagull. Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
So you
You
so
scream.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that
Ah!
druids have
we'll deal with this.
flying at this
We'll deal with
level.
this
We'll
later,
deal with
Derek.
later.
Derek, we'll
Okay,
deal with it later.
just
Just
that's fine. That's fine. Just
stop
checking.
it.
I'll edit. I'll
So,
edit if need be.
Zolaris, you feel the change come over you, your body shifting, moving, your arms extending, but also twisting and lightening. And soon, left in your place, all of your equipment, your loot, uh, shrinking down into just mottled feathers along your back. A seagull takes your place. And when you set off over the ship flying above, you see the twinkling lights of the city. And then below you, the lights of the ship. How long do you think it is before you reveal your presence to your friends?
Not very long. I think you know, as soon as I've gotten near the ship, maybe a couple of minutes before I reveal myself to them,
Okay.
kind of
Is there
laying
any of
towards the
them?
back.
Is there any of them that you think you would approach?
Um, maybe, maybe Arantha I should approach.
Okay. So, Arentha,
Mhm.
a seagull lands next to you on the crow's nest.
Mine.
I try to like shoo it away.
You start shooing, and then the seagull gets a little bit bigger and gets a little bit bigger, and then until the familiar form of Zolaris is replaced with it, perching on the basket of the crow's nest.
Dexterity save to not fall out of the crow's nest in surprise.
She's a monk.
No, I'll do
I
it.
know it's fine.
Let me die this way.
All right, go for it.
I just rescued you from the jaws of death. Okay, fine.
Sorry, I
Okay.
pushed the wrong
It's a
button.
21. You're a monk.
You maintain you maintain your balance,
It's actually a 24 if you think about it, but yes.
although you are quite surprised at because you didn't know that seagulls commonly did that.
Surprise, motherfucker!
I missed you guys.
Me too.
Hey.
Hello.
I'm just gonna reach out and kind of touch her face. Like, are you a person?
I am a little weirded out by Arantha touching my face, but I let her do it anyway.
Sorry.
And
I mean, you don't really have dark vision, so as far as you know, this total
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
stranger
like
just showed up.
reaching out towards.
Sorry for scaring you. I just had to let someone know I was here. I saw you guys running towards this boat, and looked like there was some destruction there.
Some destruction there.
Yeah, it's been a minute since we last saw each other. We just became fugitives. So
Oh, great.
if you want to roll with us, you know,
Yeah, that would be great. I've been running around by myself for a while.
we have a strict no snitching policy.
Well,
I feel like
I
I
would be
need to
glad
make a
to.
lexicon of Guaviran slang.
Yeah,
A whole lot of shit.
I can't quite hear you, Val.
Oh, yeah, I think that's because of
Oh, thank
the
God.
headphones
Okay.
that I'm
Oh,
using.
hey,
Hey,
now we
that's
can
better.
hear
I
you.
tuned
Yeah.
you up on the thing so we could actually hear your voice, but now
Yeah,
I can
no,
hear it down.
that's my fault. It's because I'm using Apple headphones, so the mic wasn't really near my mouth. So I'm just gonna hold it here for a bit so you guys can hear me
We
better.
all know the
Okay.
struggle.
Yes, this is a struggle.
No problem.
Woo.
Okay.
Well, I'll help and say, everyone's gonna be happy to see you. They're kind of depressed right now, but
Oh no. Wow, I must have really missed a lot, huh?
more like 1,000-yard stare at what we just did. But that's
I
totally
really
fine.
want her to meet Milady. That'll be fun.
Okay. The night passes with each person pursuing their own quietude and thoughts, unless there's anything that anyone in particular is intending to do over the course of the night.
I mean, Milady just met a new person.
I mean, currently she's on the crow's nest sitting with Arentha.
Oh, that's
No,
fair.
I helped her
Okay.
and to show her to everybody because everyone's sad.
Oh, that's a valid point. Has Nyx actually met Zolaris yet? Because I was Derm the last time I think you actually played in the game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, Nyx has not met
Yeah.
this person either.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
How are you feeling, Lorentha?
It's me.
Welcome me. I am Milady.
Up briefly and go back to sulking.
Milady says, "Welcome me. My name is Milady."
Wow.
Wow. Well, you are a 300-year-old.
Yep.
You gotta have some bad buttons.
Dad humor.
Yeah, is that Milady's thing? Is
Milady's the
can
mother of this
be.
group because they're all dumb, and Milady has to break into roofs and like save people out of jail. Talk
Milady
us
is an
down.
elephant.
Milady's an elephant. Milady is
Oh.
7'5" and is an elephant and wears 2 gold bracelets.
An elephant person, like not just.
She's a
an
locksmith.
elephant.
Oh,
have
like
normal
half elephant, half.
Like-
Oh.
Elephant with
Yeah.
human
3 fingers, right?
You don't want to know how that happened.
It's
A lot of time in the
Magic.
kitchen, a couple of
It's
accidents.
just whenever you say how the fuck did this happen, the answer is always because magic's fucking weird. That's just the answer.
Yes. Enough of a
So-
person to not break the ship.
An elephant got way too close to a rift to another plane. Rift magic seeped through, warped them into a different thing, and now this bullshit exists.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
So what did
Mhm.
changelings mess up in the fabric of space-time?
I just really want to see an elephant person with actually elephant hands. If they fight, they have like hold it like this, go like that. This
I need to make art like that, just like
Oh boy.
I need to get my
Smush.
tablet. I forgot to pack my tablet, so I asked my mom to send it to me. I mean, I have a tablet. It just doesn't do the pressure sensitivity anymore because it's old. So Milady now probably finally notices that Agate is sulking and sort of sits down next to her and just hands her a cookie.
Split the cookie in half, give half to Jasper, and I eat the other half of the cookie.
Is everything all right?
Lady, we had a house and a job, and now we're on a boat. Because Sierra Nixie is an idiot.
Yes! I love you, Sarah. The lady kind of takes a deep breath. Yes, this is true. She is young
So look back.
and something of a teenager, and therefore hot-headed. But despite
I'm
the
young.
fact that we have lost our house, we are all still together. Which could be a bad thing, considering that Cyrenixia is with us.
Milady, I am also a teenager, and I'm not a fucking idiot.
No. But I
I
have
know
a
a
feeling
certain
that someday...
shopkeeper and a town guardsman who would probably disagree with that statement.
How quiet is
about
it
that?
right now in
No
this
one knows
discussion?
about that.
You haven't noticed Agate doing anything.
How
That doesn't
quiet
have to
We're
is the
being
discussion you're
relatively
having?
quiet. We're sharing cookies.
That was
Okay.
thoroughly out of character.
I'm sure. Agate, I suspect that someday as you become more comfortable, you may also do something stupid. But hopefully it will not result in us breaking you out of jail and becoming fugitives from the only place we've ever known. I suspect that if we cared less for her, we would have left her there and possibly have been happier.
Would have left her there. And about the situation.
What? Can you say that one more time?
I had something else to say and I lost it. So
Well, perhaps she will learn, or she may remain just as bullheaded as she has been till now, because she wanted to find out information from Price, and like most teenagers, you accepted, of course. But I shouldn't say any of these things to you. You are still too young to know of all of the consequences that adults normally have to deal with. And you should
I
learn
never
from this.
become comfortable enough that I cause anyone here any trouble. Is Cyrenixia on the deck of the city?
On the deck of the ship? Yes, right?
Yeah, she's basically in the position that she is on the map. So it looks like the front of the ship goes up a bit, and she's sort of sitting against the wall in the corner between like the stairs, and so actually probably she's
I'm trying to find her on the. Wait, I don't see her.
the
Yeah.
closest one to you on the
Oh,
map.
yes. So on Cyrenexia's side, I'm going to make just kind of in her vicinity, use Thaumaturgy to make a flash of thunder really passive aggressively.
Do I notice that, Jack?
Yeah, I mean it's thunder, so you
I
can
mean,
hear
but do I
that.
notice that Agate's doing it?
Yes, you're right next to her, and it has a somatic and verbal component.
Okay.
Amazing.
Fuck Cyrenex, thunder.
Yes, the verbal component is fuck you.
I kind of just shift my body slightly to block Cyrenexia's view of what Agate is doing, and then slowly shake my head at Agate. Like, I'm covering for you, but you probably shouldn't do this.
Shrug and go back to petting Jasper.
Okay.
Yeah, Cyrenixia does not respond to that at all.
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
Okay, this is annoying.
Okay.
Staring there.
As the night wears on, the hustle and bustle dies down. The crew begins to go beneath. Harker will come around and tell everyone that they should try to get as much rest as they can because they'll need to be up with the dawn. And then she says, we'll need to talk then about our next moves.
Sorry, who said that?
Harker.
Okay.
Who is she saying this to?
She
'Cause we're
comes to
kind of
everyone and basically says,
individually.
get some rest. We need to talk in the morning.
Do we
So
just
Nick says, if it's all right with you, I think I'd prefer to stay topside if you wouldn't mind.
Fine by me. We'll
And
save room in the hammocks.
anyone with a passive perception over anyone with a passive perception over 15, I don't know if there is anyone who has that.
nope.
Nope.
Maybe my
This
lady?
isn't a wise
Okay, so
party.
no one knows shit. That's good.
Jumra will also stay above deck.
Also stay above deck.
Milady at that point is also staying above deck.
Arentha
Because
is
where
Yeah.
else could they get into trouble?
Arentha's going to start trying to assemble a tent for the fucking idiots that are sleeping on.
Oh, Nix isn't sleeping.
Milady
He's just
will help
kind of
Arentha.
staying by the railing, like deliberately staying there.
Jomra will curl up in a little ball, sort of wedged into the corner, and just throw some of his like a little blanket, travel blanket from his pack, over him, and conjure a little bit of fire in his hand, and then try to roll over and get some sleep.
I will sleep
Cyrenixia
in Arentha's
Going-
bedded, like quickly made. And
A little tent.
if there happens to be a moment of mild isolation, which there may not be given this situation, Cyrenixia would like to approach Arentha when there's not a bunch of other people around, which may not happen. So
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah. So you see Cyrenixia kind of stand up and walk over to you and just, why did you rescue me?
Oh boy.
I threatened all of your safety. I may have murdered guards. Very. I am dangerous. I warned you, you have seen that now. Why come back for me?
Hmm.
I got nothing.
Oh,
Wait, who
Emily.
are you talking to? Are you talking to Agate?
This is
No.
Arentha.
Agate. Eldritch Blaster. I try not to judge people on their worst mistakes. I certainly have made my fair share of very shitty mistakes that put a lot of people in danger. And us rescuing you doesn't mean we're not at what you chose to do. But it does mean we have hope that maybe you can be. And if I were you, I would heavily take that into consideration when you get frustrated. And when you feel like you want to do something similar to this. That you have a whole group of people here who just became fugitives so that you could be better. And I'm not trying to say that to make you feel bad,
But feel bad.
but
But you better.
also we're all a team.
You are all fools. I appreciate your kindness, but I think it may be misplaced.
Yeah, I do.
I
Yeah,
suppose we'll see.
yeah.
People have come back from far worse.
You don't know what haunts me.
Can you say that again?
You don't know what haunts me.
Yeah, look, you don't know what haunts me either. Yeah. We've all got shit, okay? I've murdered tons of people. I made terrible decisions that caused hundreds of people to die. And I'm here trying to be a better person. So don't talk to me about being haunted by what you've done, okay? You can be better. We all think that. And stop feeling sorry for yourself.
It is not what I have done that haunts me. It is what I am, what is inside me.
What are you?
Even now I hear its voice speaking, telling me, why not? She's been kind to you so far, but wouldn't it just feel good to grab her, incinerate her, maybe throw her overboard? The power, the pleasure, and I would feel good doing it. Listening to that voice.
So
And
why
it's
not?
never gone. It's always there, speaking to me, urging me on. And it is often all I can do to say no, to resist my training, all of my discipline. And I cannot always succeed, as you have seen.
So why do you say no? Why do you say no to the voice?
That is what I was trained to do.
You
To
don't
do
have
otherwise would break with what is good. I would become the monster that I have become.
So do you want to be good? Or do you want to follow your order?
I don't know. I think I want to be good. It would feel so good to stick a knife inside you right now.
Okay. You couldn't if you tried.
Okay, 1 second. Can we orient ourselves based on where we are on the ship? Because Milady is probably still up there.
I think that this is a fairly accurate portrayal then, right?
Yeah.
Is anyone below deck?
No one went
Nope.
below deck.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
And I keep it silent. You are only the second person with whom I have spoken of this. This is why I worry.
What the fuck? This is Emily. What the fuck am I supposed to say?
Nah, you guys
Up in
have
this
you
bitch.
guys ain't got into any of Jamra's shit.
We
You don't
need
know.
exorcism up in this bitch. That's what we need.
For
Oh
the
yeah, you definitely need
recording,
that though.
when the
Yeah.
paladin is more possessed than the warlock and the half genie combined.
Oh, I forgot the recordings don't get our lovely chat.
No, they don't, but that's okay. Because the lovely
for the
chat
best.
is
The
often silly.
lovely chat is recorded in history in Roll20 forever.
For the chat, we are the Guavengers.
No, we
So-
are
Avengers
absolutely
or the-
not.
We are not.
Aren't we
Or
the
the
depressed
depressed
derivatives?
The
I think we
what?
should be the depressed derivatives.
I kind of like that one actually.
I don't know. I'm a fan
That
of the
one's certainly more
Avengers.
appropriate.
Or
I
just
feel
the
like-
derivatives.
I feel like this is something where half the party wants it to be one thing and half the party wants it to be another. So no one.
depressed Guavengers.
Revenge derivatives.
Porque no los dos.
Okay, so
Um. Serenixia. As I see it, you can either decide that you really want to try to do good and be good and stay with us, or if you think that you are going to stab me and enjoy it, I request that you disembark at our next port. If we can't trust you, we can't trust you. And I want to trust you. And I want you to stay with us. But if I woke up one day and you had murdered one of our friends after this conversation that we've just had, I would never be able to forgive myself.
You see, I have. This is not something new. I do my best to control it. It is far easier when I am not angry. My rage brings out the worst of it. I do not know. I thought I was beginning to believe that I had some control over this. And then that happened.
I mean, is this like a Hulk scenario? Like you you give us a little thumbs up when you start to get angry, and we beat the shit out of you until you're unconscious? Is that what you want from us?
That may work. And even if I am, or if you can direct that anger towards something deserving, why, I think it would be foolish to waste the skills that I have when I could be fighting greater darkness, like this Bakramanthus. But yes, perhaps keep watch, and do not hesitate to stop me if I get out of hand. I trust you, Arentha. You seem to have the best intentions at heart.
Hmm.
It is dark out, but do I see them talking?
Yeah, you have dark vision.
Could I stealthily send Jasper over?
Yeah, have Jasper make a stealth check.
To move over with eyes closed, so we don't see them glow.
Funk! Falls off the ship.
Jack!
I try. Character sheet for Jasper. And that would be what of strength, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, what would
Wisdom.
Dexterity.
Well, stealth would be
stealth. I'm sorry. Yes, dexterity. I thought it was perception for a moment.
It's wisdom.
No one has wisdom on this ship.
I do.
What's your passive perception?
12.
Okay, so you would notice that. So you notice Jasper sneaking over Arentha.
Hey, no. And I grab Jasper.
I bamf Jasper out.
I was like
Jasper dropped
Tom and Jerry
half
style.
a cookie in Arentha's lap.
Thank you.
I would prefer if you could keep this to yourself, although I understand that that may not be possible. I pose a threat, and maybe the others should know of it as well. That is up to you. I have shown my lack of judgment for these things.
I think the others are aware enough. Just please keep in mind what I said. That if you think this will end for you, make the decision to leave if you think that's best.
Okay. With that, oh, sorry.
I just want to say one last thing, but I don't want to lose hope in you. And she will walk away and be very nauseous at all of this because it is terrible.
Oh yeah, it is.
Is anyone doing anything else before they're bedding down for the night?
Cyrenixia will find whatever the most secluded space on the ship is.
Are you going below decks?
Possibly. If that's, yeah. Assuming there's better seclusion there.
I'm gonna find I want to try to find like a sail or something on deck that's currently not in use, and curl up at the front of the boat.
Do you see the below decks?
I do see the below decks.
Good.
The lantern.
So cool.
Yeah, this is really cool.
So you can during the night, basically. Mm-hmm. So there are some of the. This is the captain's quarters here.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are some beds for certain members of the crew, and then there is throughout the gunnery deck there are hammocks that are strung up. But you, Cyrenixia, you find the little area of the hold at the front of the ship, which has an iron gate that can close it off, and you curl up in the little nook there with a blanket. Try to sleep amidst the creaking of the wood in the lap of the waves. Okay. Morning comes more swiftly than I think most of you would like. And bright and early at 5:45 in the morning, you see the blistering rays of the sun creeping over the horizon. Most of you have not gotten anywhere near 8 hours of sleep, but you groggily rise as you hear the tramp of boots. Yeah.
Can my lady just cover her eyes with her ears
Yes,
and keep sleeping?
you can certainly do so.
Thank you.
Does her trunk make little toots as snores?
It's like lying on the ground, and then it starts at the, and then it like rolls up until it comes out.
Fine. She does.
So Milady covers her head and continues to sleep. The rest of you hear there's movement from the decks, and people are getting out and moving about. The ship has been sort of kept in a holding pattern over the night, and it's now beginning to move more directionally again. You hear those of you who are up and about at about 6:15. You will hear from downstairs a call. Hurry up if you want any grub.
Ooh.
Is anyone heading down to breakfast?
Down to breakfast or up for breakfast?
Down to breakfast.
We
I
slept
will
up.
go down to breakfast.
Going down to breakfast.
Yes.
Did we technically get a long rest?
Yes, you did get a long rest because you had enough time of. You will have enough time of inaction. It doesn't all need to be sleep. Though periodic lack of sleep will give you exhaustion.
Okay.
Jammer will hesitate and slowly descend the stairs. There will be like a small table that is set up. There are a couple tables that are set up on the gunnery deck when the hammocks are cleared away and not in use. And Captain Harker will wave you all over to her table when you all head down. You're seated, and they're very clearly like they're rough-hewn chairs and stools, very mismatched. Clearly, just whatever is around the ship. Most of the crew is actually just sitting on barrels and crates that they've dragged over. And she crosses her arms and looks at everyone as most of you settle in. Says, "Well, the food will be out in a minute, such as it is, but we need to talk. Currently, we are fugitives on a ship with and she looks over at the mess of people milling about in the rear of the ship. An eclectic crew that may require discipline. And I have to ask, what's our next step here?"
Is Price with us?
Price is currently seated with some of the rest of the crew. She is laughing and joking and chatting with a few of them. You notice that
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Oh,
Jack, you
Jack.
got out there.
Jack!
come back.
Hello?
You're back.
Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear
You're
you.
back now.
Okay. You notice that she is sort of laughing and joking with the crew, and you hear the chuckles rolling out of her section of the other table at the far end. And she seems to be particularly sitting next to the dwarven man that you saw the other night. He has sort of slate gray skin and a thick white beard, and is missing his right arm, as I mentioned. Um, Trindak, you can make me
Yes.
a history check if you would like, as can Nyx and of the others. I don't think anyone else would necessarily know.
And I'm still
Trindak
sleeping,
and
so.
Nyx, you're still sleeping. Yeah, you would be able to, but you're sleeping. Okay, Trindak, you immediately realize that that's a Durgar.
A Durgar.
Yeah.
That's one of the. I sort of remember that name. I don't know.
Underdark
You
dwarves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're dwarves that live deep underground, tend to be very antisocial, have they essentially are what drow are to elves for dwarves.
Right.
It is
Yeah.
certainly strange to see one on the surface. It is also strange to see them interacting with surface folk in any way that isn't enslaving and pillaging. Um, but he's sort of gruffly talking to Price in a low voice, uh, and sitting at the table. Um, as you're looking down, you hear the hulking thuds moving up from the below decks, and this huge, heavy giant of a man uh, climbs the ladder. He has a human visage, but he is easily 7 feet tall and just has sort of very thick, heavy features. And he sits down on a creaking barrel next to the others, and begins to quaff some of his rum ration. Harka will sort of rap the table again to get your attention. Say, so, what are we doing?
Well, we kind of need to figure out what Price knows. And
All
hopefully
right.
her information will let us know where to go next.
I advise that you move quickly then. Best that they not develop any attachments. These aren't exactly the most loyal of folk.
I'm gonna pipe up and say, well, Price, what tell us, and maybe that's gonna lead us in some direction.
All right. I would advise going and getting her then, so we can speak to her.
I'm gonna go get her.
Okay. Walk up. Price is merrily joking with some of the people around. You have to tug a little bit on her
Mhm.
uh, on her hem before she does. Oh, what's up?
Over here.
Hmm.
Over here, we're trying to figure out what we're doing next. It would help if we had whatever information.
Oh, of course. I'm happy to help out. And she claps a hand on your shoulder and squeezes tight for a moment, and then lets up. Stands, cracking her back, and then saunters over to the table. And she sits down in the chair that you have just vacated, Agate.
It's fine. That's fine.
Well, I suppose I should thank all of you. Well done, well done.
Oh, I want Milady to wake up now.
I appreciate the spring.
You owe us some information.
Yeah, I do. So, what's the best way to put this? Okay. So the cat, right? You wanted to know why he was acting all odd and all that stuff, right? So I don't necessarily know what he and his, and she belches, creepy, scaly friends were getting up to. But I do know when it started. He was a pretty normal fellow, not a bad captain, not the best, but pretty decent to his crew, not too odd. He was a man of worldly desires, we'll say. Well, we were over in Tideterie. We stopped there now and then to set loose our goods, but didn't. We weren't exactly part of the sodden court, shall we say? But we were able to sell and buy, even if they didn't see fit to offer us their exalted protection. Well, he went out drinking one night, and when he came back, he said he had won something off a man in a tavern. It was that there hilt you've got on your axe, little guy.
Me,
Yeah, you. Yeah,
this thing.
it's that one. He became odd after that. He was always sort of more. He wasn't a pansy, but he didn't like the sight of blood. And after he got that, he started to fight more. He would go in himself. He traded out his pistol for a cutlass. He spent a long time looking at it, rubbing it, pushing on it.
He
And
repped his pistol a lot?
no, he got rid of the pistol. No
Yeah,
more
Oh,
you
okay.
pistol. No,
Oh,
he was a cutlass man after that. Liked a long, hard blade.
I didn't know they did those kind of upgrades.
No, me neither, but men are funny about those sorts of things. Well,
So how does that translate into sausages?
he
we got there.
he he talked to me about the guy he got it from once. Said it was he said it was one of the drunk scale faces. And well, he took us to this island, right? It was out past Tideterie. Too far. Farther than we would normally go. And when he came back, he was different. He was like you saw.
Does island have a name?
Um, I, I don't know if it has a name per se. I know he called it the Guidestone, though, or what he was looking for was called the Guidestone.
Did he find it?
I don't know what he found or what he didn't fucking find. All I know is that the people who went with him came back looking weird.
Hey,
As far as
yeah.
I'm concerned, the scale faces can take their damn trinkets back. I don't need them.
Hey,
Besides, we got ourselves a good life
Tony.
now, huh?
Hey, Dungeon Master,
Yeah,
how much of everything she said do I believe?
make an insight check. Ooh, okay. You think that she's being honest with you, but she might not. But she might be holding some stuff back. She might not. She might not have given you all of her suspicions. Uh,
Okay, but nothing she's told us so far has been clearly a lie.
no, you think that she believes it.
Okay, good to know.
And when you say scale faces, is that a racist derivative for someone like her? And she'll point to Cernixia.
Listen, I can't tell one scaly from another.
Like,
All I
They all
know
look
is
the
that
same.
are we talking fish
Captain said
scales? Are we talking dragon
no.
scales?
I'm just saying the captain said that he hustled some scale face. That's all I know. I don't know what they looked like. You see them in Tideterie all the time. You know, the pirates there put them in their place a couple generations ago.
Do they have different colors?
They're mostly like a greenish brown. I don't know. I don't spend much time in Tideterie.
Is Tideterie the big pirate island?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
And he's pronouncing it correctly now.
I had to make a note.
Yeah.
So,
Why don't you like Tideterie?
because they don't like me,
Okay, why don't they like?
because they're dicks. You know, they're all about the only true pirates are the members of are those who sail with the sodden court. Blah da blah da blah da blah da blah. They they like they're all weird and they get their they all have some gimmick, you know? Like there's nothing there's I'm a simple gal. I want money, I want drink, I want an easy life. You know, a good time. They're weirdos. If you get in the sodden court, you got to be some sort of nut. That's what I think, and that's what got the captain into this. He always wanted to be in the sodden court. Well, look where that ended him up. He was plenty sodden at the end. Huh? Huh? Thanks, kid.
Milady's gonna wander in nowish. Or whenever you
Okay.
think is
Bathroom, in and out of character.
Mm-hmm.
So,
As Milady, as you walk in, you sort of climbing down the ladder. It's shimmying back and forth with the waves. It's a rather unpleasant sensation. And you move to take your seat with the rest of the group. The crate straining under your weight a little bit. But as you all are sitting there, at that point you hear a clattering of uh, metal against metal, and stumbling into the room is a goblin holding a massive fry pot and just sort of dragging it across the floor. And it looks over to everyone with the beady eyes and says, "Well, come on, time to eat." And starts ladling out into wooden bowls what appears to be some sort of just a mash that has included in it some sort of like an oatmeal with bits of bean, what you hope are beans within it.
do they
Just
taste like beans? Do they smell like beans?
it when you dip it in and you taste it, it it's fairly palatable. It's not exactly spiced, but it seems to be fit for human consumption.
Nyx will pass, and anyone paying
Exclusionary.
attention sees that Nyx looks a little queasy.
Hmm.
Oh,
Friend.
A
Uh,
10-second overview of what I missed.
Milady came
Food.
down. The food is edible. Nyx is seasick.
The goblin sort of stares, his eyes cross each of you in turn. Well, up to your standards.
What's Mr. Cook?
Mm.
What's your name?
You can call me Stockpot.
The food is adequate, Stockpot.
Yeah, you're right. It is. Better be adequate. He drags it off to the next table and begins ladling out. Some of the other sailors express their dismay, with which he delivers a quick rap across the back of the head with the ladle, leaving bits of oatmeal in their hair as he then proceeds to dip it right back into the pot and continue on.
Milady's just not gonna look. Keep eating.
Do you all have any other questions or commentary with Price?
Yeah, so just looking a little bit worried now, kind of realizing what is, what the little feelings in the back of his head have been. He says, so I was thinking, it said it kind of made the guy like fighting. It makes a lot of sense to me. It's kind of felt that myself too. Should I don't know. Should I get rid of it? Should I?
Well, not my fucking business. But I know the last guy who used it turned into a giant dragon monster, so it depends if you think that's a good career path,
Right.
short stack.
Okay. Anybody else's opinion?
I mean, you're also not power hungry, are you?
I don't think so.
I'm going
At least
to.
not yet.
I'm gonna whisper to Jess Trindak. Sometimes you don't need a special stick to become a giant dragon monster.
That's very deep.
Ooh, the level of salt.
Shamra will just rub
Ooh,
his
the
head.
level of salt.
So,
What was the captain's name so we can stop calling him the captain?
Tusktooth.
no, his name was not Tusktooth. His name was.
Tooth Tusk.
Yes.
Fuck you.
It's
No, it was
canon.
clearly Oscar. No, it was clearly Oscar.
Oscar Tooth.
Hate. Jarzon. Captain
Oscar
Jarzon.
Johnson. I like
Nope,
it.
not Oscar.
Oh no!
No, no, there will be none of
Nope.
this.
Fuck that.
Absolutely not. I will stab anyone who no.
Well, we're gonna remember it now.
I will find you and I will skin you.
Oh
Jar
boy.
Jar.
He's the captain.
So, Charizon was power hungry. You're probably okay, Trinda.
I guess so.
And if not, we just stay in
Sausage
that small
hungry.
room. I should make sausages for us.
Chernak will actually laugh and hang his head in shame.
So, Captain Harker will sort of look over at you at all this revelation and say, so what does this mean for us then?
Oh, do we go find the guy that gave him this?
Probably be smarter to do that than to just try to find some random island that we don't know the name that
As
turned a
oppo-
bunch of people into scale monsters.
As opposed to try to find a single lizard man on an entire island populated with many, many people, and our only description of him is a lizard man.
I mean, I've got his. I know the place where they were drinking, and he mentioned the guy's name.
Oh, what was his name?
Hmm.
What was his name?
How about this? When we get to Tideterie, I'll tell you. I just prefer that nothing happened to me on the voyage.
I don't know about everybody else, but I feel like we've been more than generous for our new guest.
And I appreciate your generosity, but I also appreciate the situation I'm in. I'll tell you the name and I'll tell you the bar once I am safe on the dock. Then we go our separate ways, never see each other again.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to sheet
Break out those spells.
character sheet loading. Character sheet loading.
You've got this, friend. We believe in you. You
She
have
is loading.
got this.
Okay, I am going to but Price, what if we want to see you again in Cast Friends?
So that's a will save from her.
No, she just has advantage on charisma checks against Price.
Oh, okay.
And then in a minute, Price knows she's been magic.
Okay. So make your persuasion check then.
What? My persuasion check?
Yeah, because I presume that you're going to then follow this up with attempting to convince her.
Like, well, Price, I together at this point, and here means you any harm. At least I certainly don't. My character sheet will not go back to core. Okay, fuck it, come on. And I'm making a persuasion check.
Yeah.
Damn.
She sort of pauses for a moment and just looks down at you, and Agate just looks up, full of kindness and generosity. She says, "Yeah, you're all right, kid." And she muzzes your hair. Says, "All right." This scale face was called Sathir. He was at this bar called the Cracked Keel. It was the watering hole the captain liked to go down a lot. He said that there were always marks and drunks coming in a little down on their luck, and it was a good way to make some extra coin.
Is that Sathir with an S or a Z?
She doesn't know.
Bless you.
Thank you.
But for the DM so that we can write it down and pronounce it correctly.
Sethir.
Thank you.
And I will say to Price, thank you so much. I knew that you were someone that I could consider to be my friend.
She'll nod and smile, and continue to smile for the next 30
5,
seconds.
4, 3, 2,
What the
1.
fuck? Oh, you little bitch.
Milady's just gonna stand up now and be like, I'm sorry, I don't think I heard you correctly. And her ears are starting to flap. Slowly.
She looks at you and says, I wasn't talking to you.
But I was talking to you. I don't believe I heard you correctly.
I said, what a little bitch. She
Agree with you. I am
So
little, and I think most people would
Milady
consider me
is
a bitch.
pulling out her hammers and thwacking her on the shoulder.
Fuck her up.
Fuck
Are you
you!
attacking her?
Yeah,
Okay.
very
So
well,
you
I might
pull out
add.
the hammer and swing it across the table, which Price just kicks with her knee, and the table comes up and just intersects the hammer. You know, conk, and it gets caught on there, and you have to draw back. And it's at that point the captain says, "All right, that's enough of that. Listen, Price or whatever your name is, till we end up wherever we're going, where we'll dump you, and you can find your own way. This is my ship, and you're going to treat everyone on here with respect. And you," and she turns, saying to Milady, are going to avoid swinging weapons around in the middle of my gun deck."
Very well. I will do it outside. And I would like to try and pick up Price.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to
How are you
try to
going to?
get. Wait, I'm going to get in the way between Milady and Price for this.
What are you
Okay.
doing, Agate?
Every right to be angry, and she'll stop being angry at us when she sees that she arrives at her destination unharmed. And then I walk upstairs.
Alright, Milady will drop Price and then awkwardly attempt to rearrange her clothes.
As Agate walks by to leave, Arantha will just whisper to her, "That was so."
I'm gonna like turn around and give a thumbs up on the way back upstairs.
Price will stalk off towards the crew that she was talking with before. Drama will lean into the middle of the table and say, "Oh no, we could just." I believe that the phrase is "have her walk the plank."
Close.
Who said that? Sorry.
Drama.
About Price?
Yes.
Milady will nod.
Why?
But do we also kill the person that we got other people killed for?
And also, why do you feel the need to kill her? Honestly.
Well, she is a murderous pirate that um, strong-armed us into breaking her out of prison and making us fugitives with information that we had need of, that we no longer have need of. And now she is
You
on,
just
and now,
want
no, 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 no,
to.
no, no, no. And now she is on this ship making friends with the not so scrupulous crew, which she will have time to do the entire voyage. I do not trust her, and I think that she is dangerous, and I think that she is scum, and I would greatly. I would think it would be good to remove that problem.
Might I remind you that you all just went to a not inconsiderable amount of trouble to rescue a murderer who also was locked up and also caused you a great deal of trouble, and who also is now on this ship with a number of, at the very least, business acquaintances, although I'm not sure I would go so far as to say friends.
Unfortunately, Nyx, Cyrenexia's family. And Price happened to be in the cell right next to her. So now we have both of them.
And yet we wouldn't have this valuable information without. And even if we did make her walk the plank, how do you think her friends over there are going to?
I think that they are not friends yet. Right now, they are people who met over breakfast. But next week, who knows?
You're really that scared of her?
I'm not scared of her. I am justifiably cautious.
I repeat, you're really that scared of her.
All right, Nix. I will save my protestations for when she has a knife at your throat. At that point, you can tell me how scared of her you are.
Fair enough. As for me,
Out of
I
character
intend
coughing,
to be.
cough, Orentha, cough.
What?
Out of
Cough what?
character, out of character, cough, Orentha, cough.
Oh!
Fair enough. As for myself, I intend to stay perfectly friendly with her until we make it to Tideterie, where I can hopefully book passage back to Guavira with all haste. In the meantime, I would suggest simply trying not to make waves. This boat is already plenty rocky enough as it is.
I would support Jamra in this, although I do not believe my opinion is worth much at this point. I hardly trust it myself.
I think we should keep her separated from the other crew, but we can do that by putting her in the brig.
The captain will rap on the table again and say, as much as I have distaste for her, that's not really an option at the moment. We're fairly short-handed, and we need all the crew we can get. I'd prefer not to have to take on any more at Tideterie of all places, but that's what it looks like the situation may be. As it is, you're all going to need to lend a hand. But at the moment, we are left with precious little in the way of assistance. We have no bosun, no quartermaster, no surgeon. We have a first mate and a cook, but they're of limited quality. We also need plenty of people to man the crew and keep an eye out. So, rather than guessing about what we will do in a few weeks, let's talk about what we are doing now.
Ship resource management.
Any
Milady can
volunteers?
technically still make food for a while. I don't know if it's actually. Hold on, let me look this up. But I do
So-
make food. I make the food that is yummy.
Yeah,
So
you're
can-
not low on supplies.
Oh, okay.
She's
And
saying
then
you're
we're
low
like-
on personnel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On quality personnel, shall we say.
So can we go over what the jobs do?
Yep. So, there are the following jobs that are available right now.
I kind of just finished these episodes on Critical Role, so this is
Oh, I'm
really
glad.
funny.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, friend.
cool.
That was a lot.
So currently, the first mate,
I will be
as you
surgeon.
ask around about what the situation is, you will be told that the dwarven man, the Durgar man rather, is a fellow by the name that goes by the name Crumblefist, and he uh, he's known to be a fairly skilled uh, first mate and sort of fixer for captains. And he was taken on. When he was taken on, he basically said that he would only agree to serve on the ship if he was made the first mate. Um, she needed one at the time, and there was limited choice available in the while you guys were breaking everyone out of prison. So she acted quickly and accepted him. But the captain will make it known that she suspects that he and also Stockpot will protest rather loudly if they are removed from their current positions. And while she isn't afraid of Stockpot in the slightest, she would be concerned what would happen if Crumblefist decided to act against us.
Look particularly strong, like.
No, not necessarily. He's been doing this a while, shall we say. He's served on all manner of crew.
A capable individual who does his job well and probably knows exactly where he can do his job best. Otherwise known as let's not fuck with that.
He's had alternative employment on the seas in the past.
Hmm.
The rest of the crew are just that, crew. But we could
So
use
it's
some
those
assistance.
it's the first mate and the cook who are already doing
Hmm.
things.
And of course, God forbid the situation arises, but gunners.
I suppose
Let's hope not.
they could be a person.
Um, I
I could
have a
be the surgeon.
Sorry, were you saying something,
I can be the
Sarah?
surgeon.
Okay. And what
What
did you
are
say,
the
Sarah?
positions? Oh, never mind. I didn't say anything.
They're posted in the group me. Not in the. I mean, I now have posted them in the group me, but they're also in the Roll20. She's essentially saying, I'll just toss that one by one. Who's going to be the bosun? Bosun
So,
does repair
yeah,
and
I said
maintenance.
that.
Okay. Trendak, bosun.
I'm writing these down.
Quartermaster. Quartermaster will be doing navigation work.
I have a kind of high wisdom. I can try the quartermaster.
Going once, going twice. Sold to the lady in the shaven head. And
Deal.
My
surgeon.
favorite.
I believe Milady wanted to be surgeon.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that means that Cyrenixia,
And we also, I think, have
Agate,
a. Okay, we're not touching the cook. Okay.
Nyx, and Zolaris are going to be acting as general crew.
Okay.
Cool.
Does that sound good for everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay. She will say, "All right, let's get to work then." You there, and she points to Zolaris. You look well. You don't really much look like anything, but you look like
Thank you.
someone I can trust slightly more than the other louts I have about.
I
I'd
will
like you
take
to
that
keep.
as a compliment.
You should, at least in present company. I would like you to keep an eye out today. Sailors are a suspicious lot, and on the first day of a voyage, there's this tendency to look for omens. If you could perhaps point out a good one for them, that would be helpful. To shape the narrative, shall we say?
Omens. Got it.
Okay. You, Agate, Cyrenixia, and Nyx. There'll be a lot of things to do around. We still have to get everything in order. We weren't truly set. Um, Catalog our food supplies and get ready to head out. So feel free to interact with the crew and try to get the things done that need to get done.
I will catalog the food supplies. I can do that.
All right. And then she turns towards Arentha. All right, then, Quartermaster. We need to decide how we're getting to Tideterie, if that's where you've decided that we need to go.
Yep.
It's
How
a
do we do
pretty
that?
well, it's a pretty nasty place to be, and at least when we get there, well, we're certainly going to make sure that we're not flying any standards beholden to any particular uh, country. And if someone could actually work on putting together, I'm going to regret this, a flag of convenience that would make us look like that we were a pirate ship, that would be very helpful. Perhaps Cyrenixia or Nyx, you could get to work on that.
I believe I can do that for you.
All right. Arentha, then. We have two ways of traveling. We can either sail straight for her, or we can hug the coast and sail along south along Mahida and then take the current up. It'll be a longer voyage, but a little bit less chance of running into any pirates or other surprises. But we will be along the coast of Mahida, and things get weird when you get too close to the continent. Or we can go straight through it, quickest way there, and hopefully don't run into any pirates.
How weird.
Here, I'll show you.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like it. What are you?
This is a map that I drew.
Yeah.
Dang.
Okay.
This
Local
shows
cartographer.
Tideterie and the surrounding sea. We would
What are
ideally.
we looking at?
The shoal of scattered bones. Ooh,
I don't see
Shattered
anything.
bones. It's
Don't see
shattered
anything?
bones.
shattered bones.
This is in roll 20. There we
Roll
go. Now
20.
I'm
Yep.
my internet's being slow.
That's my. What am
Ukatoa
I?
on the map to scale.
Hmm?
Is the Ukatoa on the map to scale?
Oh, of course. It's a couple
I mean,
hundred miles
actually,
across.
probably.
So, quartermaster, which is it?
So how weird is the coast of Mahida? Like, what kind of weird are we talking? Are we talking beautiful sirens coming out of the water? Because that wouldn't be terrible, or terrible dragons.
This
That
isn't a
would be
pleasure
terrible to
cruise,
more than 50% of this group.
but normally there's nothing. Occasionally, super weird. Depends. Sometimes you get lucky. Depending on your perspective, I'm not sure which one that would be, but
I'd say better safe than sorry. Let's hug the coast.
okay. We'll
Take a
head
lot.
south then. Trip should take about a week and a half.
How much longer would it take? How much shorter would it be to take the more direct path?
4 days, give or take, a day or two. Shorter.
I don't think that's enough shorter to risk pirates. Us as a group don't do great when confronted with.
Okay. Well, y'all best be about yourselves. We have a lot of work to do today. Get going! And she will shoo you off to your various tasks.
Milady just starts rolling bandages without really moving.
Okay.
Sorry, remind me what my task is one more time.
Your
Sorry.
task, Zalaris, is she would like you to keep a watch out for any other ships or anything, and while you're doing that, to look for omens.
Okay.
We're going to get to that in just a moment. But first, I'm going to start with Milady, and we'll go all around. And we'll talk about what a person is doing over the first few days in this voyage.
Okay. Okay.
Cool.
Milady,
Yeah.
you're
Sorry.
rolling your bandages,
Mm.
and you're winding them pretty tight, and ensuring that you have the proper supplies. You're making sure that there's needle and thread, that everything is sterilized and put together in something resembling a kit, just in case something should happen. When you hear a somewhat familiar voice behind you. I said, well, I didn't expect to see you again. especially not so soon.
Sorry,
And when you
yeah, thank you.
and when you turn, you see the visage of the elven man that you had met in the temple just the other day.
Tornil,
I'm lady. It's good to see you.
likewise. Though you do know rather a lot for my comfort.
What?
He knows about Cyrenexia firing up all those people.
Mhm.
So I was like, though you do know rather a lot for my comfort.
I must say I was surprised to see you. I thought that I was just taking up on a merchant vessel, and we seem to be engaged in some rather interesting trips, judging by the way the captain is tacking now.
Did your other appointment fall through?
No, the captain had taken me on. I suspect her plans may have changed from her original purposes.
The lady sort of nods slowly. Yes.
But, well, if you have some spare time at dinner, say, come by. I'd love to catch up a bit.
Of course. Perhaps we can have a better meal than
Of course.
Stockrot is able to prepare.
And he will bow slightly and then turns and walks away to wind up some of the ropes in the corner.
I will not do
As you
him.
see that, make a perception check.
Sorry.
Perception.
Yes.
Okay.
What was
Yeah,
my
just walks away
rolls?
and continues to wind the things in the corner.
Okay.
Zalaris,
Yes.
you are setting yourself out in the on the crow's nest, which in this case you may actually be a crow during that time. Uh, but as you're looking out and examining the horizon, I'd like you to make a perception check.
Okay.
Okay, so you're looking out over the vast blue expanse of the sea, and the first thing you notice is that once you've gotten farther away from the shore, and now you've put a good probably 30 or so miles away from the city, um, the waves are so much darker and greener out here. It's not it's not just that it has a whole different sense from when you were near the coast. It feels wild and open and free in a way that is profoundly dissonant from, but at the same time analogous to the natural scenes that you have experienced in the past. And you feel it's a very meditative experience. It's just looking out over the waves in the distance on the horizon. You don't see any ships or anything for the first couple of days, but you do see a few things that you think might classify as omens. So you had quite a good perception check result, and I'm going to let you roll roll me three D100s, and that'll describe the omens you see, and we'll see what which of those you choose to relay to the crew.
Okay. How do I do that again?
Um,
I mess this up
With one
every time.
D100.
Oh, what? Okay.
so you can just copy the thing that
Okay.
Michael has
Yes.
posted
Yeah.
Without the.
And
without
then
the parentheses
Right.
without the quotation marks.
or the quotations.
And then
Sorry.
hit up arrow and enter twice more.
Okay. And just do that two more times.
Okay.
It was so close to being nice.
Right.
Okay. So The first thing you notice as you're setting up at the beginning of the day, um, in the mast, is that a couple of sparrows seem to have accompanied the ship as they set off. Now that they're really too far from land in order to be able to get back easily, but they're just flitting about the masts, occasionally picking at little scraps of food that are left about, and they seem to be just staying with the ship. And you hear their sweet songs as you're moving along through the sea. A second thing that you notice is that um, the captain seems to have acquired a a cat that is serving and performing that ancient function of cats aboard the ship. It is a dark, solid black cat, and it seems to be very pleasantly catching rats, and has quite a few of them that has sort of lined up on one side,
A
and is
black
just
cat
picking
on
at
a
them.
ship is considered a favorable omen.
Well,
It could be a
these are the
bad one,
omens she
though.
sees. She's going to need to decide which of these she relays to the crew. And then finally, just as the sun is rising on the second day, you notice very early in the morning you're sitting out eating your little bit of gruel separate from the rest of the crew. And just as the sun is rising, you see shooting stars beginning to cross the line. One, two, three, eight of them sliding
Oh,
across the sky from east to west, a bright green. And then they're there for only a few seconds before they're gone. As you're pondering these things that you've seen, are there any of them that you think you would like to relay to the crew?
I think I would like to relay the third one.
Okay.
With the shooting
Oh,
stars.
plenty.
Okay. Um, is there anyone in? Okay. Um, there is one member of the crew who has sort of been around you a lot. It tends to be up in the riggings, making small maintenance to the sails and uh, ensuring that the eyelets are properly attached to them, et cetera, et cetera. He's a sort of a short, wiry young man who goes by the name Dashu, and he also sees that along with you and turns to look, and you see his eyes go wide. He's like, What do you think that was?"
Oh, can she talk?
Hmm?
Um,
Oh,
Oh, okay,
hi, sorry.
that's
that's
fine.
okay.
My mom came in, so she was talking to me for a second, so I missed some of what you said. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
One of the crew that you've been seeing a bit more because he's up in the riggings, is a wiry young man by the name of Dashu.
Okay.
Um, so when you go and spread this tale of the omen that you saw, what do you say to them?
Hmm. Uh, I I will tell them that one night I saw these 8 shooting stars just scatter across the sky in this beautiful hue of light green that it brought over me a sense of calm and of optimism about our voyage. I'll tell him that.
Yeah, you do so, and everyone seems to talk amongst themselves. They're very excited. There's whispers. And oh, this is good. This means that we're going to travel quickly. This is an auspicious voyage. Make an insight check as you're doing that.
Okay.
Okay. As you watch, you'll see that while everyone is sort of excitedly talking about that and very pleased, Price seems to have a sour expression on as everyone's talking about their hopes for the trip. Um, so who do we have next? Did Arento, did Agate, what are you doing?
That's an excellent question, DM. I am going to get out some of my paper. Since it's been a little while since I wrote, I'm going to take my first sheet of paper. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to use my paper. Sorry. I'm going to take my chalk. I'm going to write out the alphabet and some numbers just once so I can practice them. Then I'm going to take this. Can I see how I do? Because that probably indicates how well the rest of this is going to go.
Sure.
It's been a couple weeks now. Character sheet will load. The dexterity check?
I think it was an intelligence check. For writing?
Yeah.
Also, quick fun fact, Sarah, in the top left corner of your character sheet, there should be a little button that's like a square inside of another square. If you click that, your character sheet opens into another tab and you don't have to keep closing.
Oh.
Oh wait, really?
Yep.
Oh my god.
I also did that.
Oh.
Whose life did I just change?
Mine.
Mine. Oh my god.
Yeah, Agate, you do a pretty decent job. Like the letters are still a little jittery in parts, but it's all legible and it's spelled properly, or written, or the numbers are written properly rather.
Go up to every barrel in the basement, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to see what's in it. And I'm going to take just a little bit of what's in it, like not a lot, just a little bit after I record it, and give it to Jasper.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
Oh wait, I don't have to do this. Oh, I can just open another tab. Amazing.
Whole new world. Okay. So you go through and record it and go through the whole thing, and what you'll see is that there's pretty decent stocks of food. There are a few crates that seem to contain these like long, flat planes of small pieces of wood. And they seem to be like rubbed with a particularly dark stain. And when you open it a little bit, there's this sort of a heady smell of spice that comes out. And in some others, you see some that they're like some bags that seem to be chock full of these finely pressed leaves. You can take some of each of those. You can make a nature check if you'd like to identify what those are, but there's not too much. There's not too much of those. There's a decent amount of food. You think that it's easily enough for 2 to 3 weeks, probably longer with the number of crew you have.
The only thing I'm really interested in here is those leaves. So I'm gonna take one. Smell it.
Sure. It smells sort of earthy and fresh. It's clearly been dried. But
Feel anything?
make a nature check. You think that they are high quality tea leaves, and you recall that there are some pretty substantial tea plantations just outside of the city.
Okay, I put the leaves back. I'm not going to take anything then, because none of this seems particularly interesting.
Okay.
So I'm going
to. You will
to
find gunpowder as well.
Question.
As you are doing your inventory of the gunnery deck.
Oh,
So I'm going to make a really nice spreadsheet, and I'm just going to take like a bit of cloth, and I'm going to put a little bit of gunpowder in, I'm going to tie it up really nice, and I'm just going to give it right to Jasper.
Okay.
Is this before or after you make the spreadsheet? This probably should be before you make the spreadsheet, so your spreadsheet is accurate to what they now have, as opposed to what they had before you stole shit.
It's only a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit of destruction.
You hear a grunt from behind you as you pop it into Jasper's mouth.
Look up at the person. With like spreadsheet in one hand, like pen in the other hand.
You see the white-scaled dragonborn with the scars going down his snout, standing there, his arms crossed, and sort of looking at you.
I am Maggot. Do you want to see my spreadsheet?
Hey, just call me Scale. Everyone else does.
Well, it doesn't matter what everyone else calls you. What do you call you?
Scale's fine for here. Be careful with the powder. Not good to have it jostling around. It probably shouldn't be stored too close to the guns. You know, they spark.
Yeah. I'll keep it far away from fire.
Yeah. Sort of gives you a searching look. You do that.
Will do.
He wanders off. Cyrenixia, what are you doing?
I think just helping whatever manual labor can be helped with. I don't
Okay.
think she's still fairly detached from things.
Okay. Do you think that she is talking to any of the crew or interacting with them, or do you think she's just very focused on the matters at hand?
I don't think she's making an effort to interact with anyone.
Okay. Quietly working. Most of them will give you their berth. They'll give you some space. No one's really making an effort to talk to you, not even Scale. Nix, what are you up to?
Okay, so Nix is not happy right now because we're currently finding the one thing he just really doesn't like, which is being on a boat. Because boy, he's not having a good time with that. In the meantime, he is trying to come up with what he thinks would be a good flag to make them look like a pirate, but also not really draw attention to themselves. That's kind of his goal right now.
Okay. Should I come back to you when you figured out what you'd like that to look like?
Well,
Or
I
do you know
was
now?
actually going to ask you if like Thieves' Cant would come into play with this at all. So, because I don't really know.
Oh, you could certainly try to encode a message in Thieves' Cant on the flag. Is there anything that you'd particularly like to have with
Well,
that?
it's less a message and more just like trying to figure out what the best kind of like middle of the road. Yes, we are pirates, but also we're not like super weak or super strong. We're just like people look at the flag and go, "Oh, hey, pirates," but like not take any special interest in it.
Just like your average pirate flag is what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm looking to have us fly below the radar here.
Okay. So what you'd probably want then, given your knowledge of Thieves' Cant, you would know some of that symbology and how to convey meanings with that. You'd probably want to stay away from like the directly like Jolly Roger-esque skull and bones because that can have implications of you not taking prisoners. The sort of the most calm of the pirate flags generally involved figures, and you think that you could probably do like a combination of a person like wielding a weapon and stabbing at something, or an arm with a sword with some symbols around it. You think that those would be mellow enough to perhaps give you the experience you're looking for.
Okay, so we're gonna go with arm hold. We're gonna go with person holding trident. I think is what we're gonna go with here.
Okay, person holding trident.
Cool.
All right.
Or I'm sorry, person holding pentadent. Because fuck tridents, pentadents are where it's at. If Aquaman has taught me anything, it's that incidents are where it's at. I never watched that movie because apparently it was awful. But if Aquaman has taught me anything, it's
Scale of DC movies, it came in a solid second place.
Amazing.
What came in first? Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman.
What came
Yeah.
in third? Shazam?
I don't count. Oh, Shazam is above Aquaman. I lied. Aquaman's in third place.
Join the spot. Trindak, what are you up to in the first couple days of the voyage?
Well, whatever the bosun needs to do, I suppose.
Okay.
So
So
looking
so
around
you're
for
just focusing on.
maintenance.
Okay. What you'll see is the ship is in fairly good condition. It seems to have just been refurbished after any of the damage it had taken previously, and this was the pirate ship, so it didn't actually take any damage when you guys captured it. And it's a pretty stable. Everything seems to be okay. There's not too much that's damaged at the moment. Um, are there any members of the crew you're trying to talk to, or are you just going about your business and keeping to yourself?
Uh, is there anyone who looks like they might need help, like carrying things or need moving?
You will notice that the elf that Milady was talking to before, um, he seems to be rather lithe, and he he very quickly earns the moniker Featherweight from the rest of the crew, who seem to mock him for his inability to carry quite as much as they can.
someone pick strength as their dump stat.
So you could certainly try to help him.
yeah, I can. I'll go help him.
hmm Okay, you'll do so, and you can help him move around the large spools of rope. As you're doing so, you'll get a dirty look from Crumblefist.
Aw. Not the other dwarf here.
He hasn't said it. He hasn't come up to you or said anything this whole time. Though you can certainly do so if you would like.
I think I will.
Okay. He is. He's putting together a log at the moment. You see, like the stump of his right arm is holding the edge of a book open, and he's scratching in it records of crew information. And he looks up at you with his dark, beady eyes when you walk into the quarters.
Do I know his name already? I forget if I actually
You've
heard
heard the crew calling him Crumblefist.
Okay, I have heard. All right, so I'll say, "Hey sir, couple fists. Yeah,
Fine.
I was curious to ask how you ended up on the seas."
I've been on one sea or another for near on all my life. Just about. One isn't too much different to the next. I just stays below deck and get what needs to be done.
Hey, I respect that.
Do ye?
I do. I don't see why I wouldn't. I also just wanted to say I mean, I myself, as the other dwarf here, I also was not really kind of dwarf to be where I was supposed to be. I was more of the land rather than the rock, as my other landmates were. So it's nice to see somebody who's kind of similar.
He gives you a steady look and says, "Don't go looking to me for sympathy for your hilliness, boy. I'd be back home if I could."
Oh, I see.
Fly in darker waters.
I suppose that's how it is. I hope the best for you. I'll get back to work.
You do that.
I gotta go.
As you're walking out of the room, he'll call out and says, "Hey,
Hey,
it would do you good to keep an eye out on Featherweight.
alright.
He ain't the pansy he seems."
Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah, you better.
Hey,
He turns back to his book, begins writing again.
okay, I'll note that out.
Okay. As you are proceeding along the coast over the course of the next few days, Arentha, you are navigating for the captain and drawing the appropriate route so that you can try to guide it along the coast while avoiding any reefs or shoals along the way that could damage the ship. I would like you to make me a wisdom check as you attempt, or a survival check, excuse me, as you uh, guide the ship along the coastal waters of Mahida.
Nice.
Okay. So the first couple days, you're making very good pace. You're moving along, and it's the voyage is fairly calm. There hasn't been much in the way of rain or storm. Just a nice crisp breeze off of the sea and a decent wind for your travel. As you're going along, you notice that the coast seems, because you do end up turning and hewing back towards it a little bit until it's sort of just in sight. Um, but even now, you're far to the south of Guavira, so you don't really have any danger of being spotted by them. You know from your studying of the maps that you are far beyond the boundaries of Guavira's outer defenses, and now the continent to your west and south is entirely unexplored. And as you're watching the coastline steering along, you see that there are limestone cliffs that rise up along the coast. They're covered at the top with this reddish brown soil, and lush plants cling all along them. And you see scores of seabirds occasionally flying in and off the cliffs, hunting for fish in the pools around them. You also notice as you're sailing that there are small sea caves that seem to line the cliffs as well. On the fifth day of the voyage, I'd like you to make me a D100 roll.
Is this how you do it? Nope.
Close.
Same.
Nope. Help.
Can someone provide?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Slash R1 space 1D100.
Okay.
Yay!
Yay!
You did it.
Well
And
done.
there was much rejoicing.
I am proud.
Thanks.
You notice that the weather seems to be worsening a little bit as you're getting south. And early in the morning, you notice that there's sort of a mist on the water and visibility is quite poor. The captain approaches you as the ship is proceeding along and you're beginning to lose sight of the coast. She says, I should warn you. I heard there are sometimes some strange fogs that can set in off the coast and leave a ship in considerable difficulty. They say that people see strange things in them. They do things they might not have done, see things they don't want to see. Just keep an eye out and stay calm. All right?
Out of game, this is the best one I could have rolled. In game, this is the worst thing that could have happened. Should we have people go below deck and just wait the fog out?
I mean, I'd prefer that, but I... Problem is, we're already undermanned anyway. We have as few as are possible.
DM, does Price work on the top deck?
Price does. Price is currently working with some of the riggings, ensuring that they are reduced down to give you a little bit more control, and the ship will move a little bit slower when going through the fog.
Okay.
The captain says, I'm going to go look after the crew. Take this. She hands you her spyglass. Don't lose it.
Well, as a land captain, I have no idea how to use this.
Well, time you earned your rank then, I suppose.
Immediately looks to the wrong end. Why does everything look so much further away? It's these drunk.
Looks right at Harker. Oh no, he ran away. I'm messing with you, and I close it, and I flip it in the air, and I catch it.
You'll do fine. I hope.
I have all faith in you. Oh, it's like in music and lyrics. If it's meant to be, it will be. It's destiny. Or not. I love that.
Well, so over the next couple hours, the fog rolls in thicker and thicker and thicker until it gets to the point where you can barely see across the deck rather than let alone see the shore itself. And you're steering by dead reckoning at this point. You know that there is the route that you're supposed to take, and you're supposed to have this heading for this number of minutes. You're trying to give yourself as much room as possible, but you're certainly concerned. I'd like to know where everyone is right now.
I am on a ship.
Okay. Okay, how about
Yes.
this? What? I can tell you where I think you might be, and you can tell me if you want to be somewhere else.
Okay.
Given that you can change your
I thought you were gonna switch back to the ship picture.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go to boat view.
I'm going to boat view.
Woo!
Where's the boat view?
The boat.
You gotta give me a moment.
Looking at the
I
what?
don't see. Oh.
Boat!
Looking at a boat, motherfucker.
Is it still dark? Is it daytime? Is it how does?
It is day, but it is quite dark. The fog is fairly extensive.
I read a book about this. That was a good book.
So let's see if this will work.
I'm gonna say I'm probably where I am right now, just sitting at the front of the boat with my back to the, like, outward facing, looking at everyone on the deck.
Whoa!
Hey,
Ah!
Oh, there we go.
Woo.
Yeah.
that is very sick.
Yeah. I was trying to see if the weather thing would work.
Did that like update the phone?
Weather.
Does it work on the animated map?
It did before.
Mhm.
And like the rain one works.
See whether the weather works.
My health isn't updating. Maybe I wasn't fixed.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, you
It was
figure this out.
working
I'm gonna go to
before.
the bathroom.
No, it's fixed. Never mind. That's all.
Okay. Jeez, damn it.
I forgot to hit enter.
But yeah. And it's just very very thick, very and it's just this cloying white fog. So you are, so Arentha, you're probably up by the where you are here by the
Yeah.
sail. Zolaris, your post is normally at the top of the mast.
Mhm.
Cyrenixia, where are you working today? Top, bottom?
I mean, moving something heavy. I don't know. I'm above deck, definitely.
Okay, where would you like to be?
But let's say there. Not entirely sure why. But
Okay. Milady and Agate, you're probably below decks normally. Is that all right with you?
I will go below the deck.
Okay. Nyx, do you think you're below decks or on the top deck? Nyx. Ryan!
Did you fall asleep?
I think he
Oh.
fell asleep.
I got
Wow,
it. I got
that
it.
hurts.
I got it.
This really stinks.
We were all doing individual things.
Keep in mind, he doesn't have a sleep schedule and works a night shift, but I'm gonna call him.
Wow. I
I
know
see.
that feel.
actually, as we notice the fog starting to roll in and the possibility of threat, I'd like to see if I can get my hands on at least a little bit of equipment, armor, something like that.
Okay. Oh, there
Might-
it is. It's working. Do you guys see it now?
Oh, yes, I see it. The fog.
It should not be quite that fast.
Guys, if
Yeah,
we all
it
be
is
quiet
so
for like 10 seconds and then shout Ryan, I think he'll wake up.
I don't think he will. Voicemail.
Ryan.
No, we need to be coordinated.
I know.
Okay.
I was
Guys.
coordinated.
We're gonna do it. 5, 4, 3.
Ryan, you should feel really bad. This
One.
is your conscious speaking
Ryan!
telling you that you fell asleep during D&D. Wake the fuck up. You may respond to this message.
Wake up!
Okay.
Wake
We'll
up!
say Nyx is below decks.
Nyx is asleep.
Trindak,
He's just
are
so
you
engrossed in the flag design that he doesn't know
Indeed.
that.
He's just dead to the world.
exactly?
Ryan!
Ryan!
I'm sharing a relevant video.
Wait, no. Wake up.
Ryan,
Okay, he's asleep. That's fine.
Ryan, there's a spider on your face. You should wake up.
I don't know. What's the most disturbing thing to
He hates
Ryan?
spiders.
What
He
was-
hates spiders. Spiders are his worst fear.
Is he asleep?
Yes.
Yes.
That's becoming our group me picture. He wakes up.
I'm actually
Anyway, let's-
kind of jealous.
What is
So-
this video?
Trendak, are you above or below deck?
I'm above. I assume I'm still moving things
Okay.
and keeping an eye on Pansy.
Okay. So everyone's moving about.
Was Cyrenixia able to grab some, like, was there some sort of crappy armor
You are-
shield things?
So you will find that the only armor that's on the ship is going to be leather armor, because swimming.
Ships. Yeah.
You can find like a cutlass in terms of swords.
Okay. Is there a shield, maybe?
No, there would
Okay,
not be
no.
a shield.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really hope that when Brian wakes up, he doesn't know.
Can I make would I be able to make an insight check real quick on the elf just to see if like I understand?
Yeah, over the
why he
course.
seems suspicious?
Why don't we save that for later?
Okay, that's right.
So the fog thickens and thickens and thickens until it is heavily obscured. Arentha, as you are looking through this, actually anyone who's on deck as they're looking through this, they can make an Arcana check if they would like, as they sense that there is something. They feel a strange frisson in the air. And Jommer would probably do one as well.
If we're proficient or just in general?
You're on deck.
I think just if you're on deck.
Oh,
Like,
okay. And I'm not on deck. You're right. Sorry. I don't think I was ever told where I was.
We're below. You are below deck
I
with
suggested
me.
that you might be below deck.
Sounds good.
Should I also make one then?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can make an
Zolaris,
Arcana
come
check.
hang
Yeah.
out with us. Oh, no, you're up here.
Oh, where'd it go? There it is.
Nope. Okay.
Oh boy.
Trindak.
When you're barbarian.
Yeah. As you are walking through, looking over the things, making sure that nothing can get jostled loose, you feel a sense of hunger. And you sort of absentmindedly reach around to grasp your axe, and it feels really safe in your hand, and your finger rubs over the haft, over the hilt that you have attached there. As it strokes over the carved runes on there, you feel that there is something present here, something coming closer.
I'll relay that. See, hey everyone, I'm kind of getting that same energy as this.
It's not the same. It's not the same as that.
Well, but it's like it's. I feel that there is a threat.
Can I take out the spyglass and look for anything in the fog?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Wow.
Okay. You look out, and it's so tough to tell. It's tough to see. But you almost, as you're looking at, you're trying to find anything that could possibly be there, you do see something. A shape in the fog. A shape moving closer towards you. Closer, 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 until it resolves into a woman, you think?
Oh no.
Perhaps it's just a trick of the mist, but you look, and she seems dreadfully familiar. a mirror to you in almost every way, with long, flowing hair. She cocks her head to the side and reaches out with a hand, and you just hear this whisper pass over you. It says, "Traitor."
Oh.
Oh boy.
And then the ship carries you onward, and she's gone. There are other shapes that you see. Trindak, it seems as if for a moment the ship is cresting through hills as the waves break beneath you. And there are figures in those hills, figures in pain, figures in mourning, figures that cry out for justice. And then the ship bursts through them, and they receive none of those things. Stellaris, as you're looking out
Yes.
over the rigging, you hear a squeak. And you see a rat scurrying down the 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 lines as if in abject terror.
Oh God, no.
This one not made of mist or fog, but as far as you can tell, a flesh and blood rat is just hurrying. It seems to scurry down and then get onto the side of the ship and then slip down through one of the gun ports. And as that look carries you down, I'd like you to make a perception check.
Okay.
Get it. Come on. Oh.
Mm.
Okay. You don't see anything. Your eyes are focused. You looking after the rat, but it's so hard to tell really anything at all.
No.
And that's when you feel a cold slickness wash over you as beings reach out of the fog. And Arentha, for you, it's almost as if it is the woman again, is someone again, but this one doesn't look like you at all. This one looks damp and ragged and broken and hungry. And that's when I would like you to roll for initiative.
Ooh.
Just the two of them or all
I
of
would
them?
like everyone who is current. I would like everyone to roll for initiative.
Okay.
Can
on
you
the
put
token.
the
Also-
initiative counter up, Jack?
Yep, I'm going to do that as soon as I put the offending
Hold on,
ones.
guys, wait. Select your character token before you roll initiative.
All right. I do that every time.
It's okay.
Damn it.
Ooh. Ah. Tokens.
Great.
It's our
That's
flag.
an amazing thing. Good job, Sarah.
You are welcome.
That was very quick.
Good job.
To troll Ryan.
Absolutely. What else?
Oh, I don't like those.
You're down here, milady. You already have a token.
Oh,
She's
sorry.
down here.
I'm not.
Wait, how do we get to down on the boat?
Oh.
You're just
It's
down
on a
on the
different
map.
map. It's
Yeah.
I brought. They're below. They're
I see,
below
yes,
the
I
map.
see. Okay, there I am.
Okay. I select if can.
Can someone Jaeger Nix?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, all the Jaeger Nicks.
Oh, there's so many of them.
I forgot that we needed to Jaeger Nix because Nix is
Can
dead.
someone please Jaeger Nix?
I will Jaeger Nix.
Okay. It's free extra firepower.
That's hilarious. I was like, why did we need to Jaeger Nix? Jack, can you give me commanded?
Nope, because right now I am trying to make sure everyone has a turn.
That's fine.
Give me just a moment, please.
Yeah, take your time.
You get no moments.
1 moment. There it is. It's gone.
Oh, moment is
no.
actually technically a minute and a half.
It's technically what?
It's a
That's
minute and a half.
technically
It's exactly 90 seconds.
What?
I feel like I should have known this before I was 23.
Where is this source? What is the source of this information?
Personal knowledge and awesomeness, but I will look it up.
Oh, why does that keep doing? Grr.
Anger.
Oh, that was how I should have done it.
Here.
This is the first time I'm
Like,
doing
it's
it.
actually a time there. Why does my foot
Jeez. Okay.
stop reaching?
Okay. Now you needed me to
I
give
need
someone Nyx.
Jaegering control of Nyx, yes.
Okay.
If we kill Nyx, is it really our fault? Or did he just fall asleep at his post?
Chose this for himself.
No, he just fell asleep at his post, fell overboard, wasn't paying attention, didn't come down to the ropes.
I don't know if can I.
So when you edit, you have to edit the character sheet, and then you give control to.
Yeah, I have to do it on the character sheet.
Yes.
Okay. I'm doing it. Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
So, first up is Trindak. You turn around as you hear this sort of dreadful
Hold on, let me
sucking
just roll
sound.
initiative for Nyx.
Okay.
Because otherwise, I don't know.
He doesn't know what's happening yet.
All right,
either.
that's fair. You are right. I'm sorry, friend.
They're coming down.
As the as this creature seems to emerge from the mist, almost composed of it, but which has this sort of sickly, greenish, transparent core as it stretches out a hand towards you. What are you going to do, Trindak?
I'm gonna give in to the tendencies of my magic item and rage and attack it.
Okay.
And I get to attack twice.
Yes, you do. 5th level, man.
Alright.
Okay. Yeah, both of us are going to hit.
Cool.
Nice.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay. Your blade is magical right now because of the thing. So you swipe it through him and you strike it once, and it seems to have just a little bit of tug of resistance as it breaks through the the mist, and then you bring it back again for your second strike. I'm trying, okay?
No, it's not you. It's
and
Brian woke up.
Oh.
Incredible.
You're back.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Woke up.
And you bring it down and absolutely just disintegrate the specter.
Nice.
I'm sorry, Jack.
Sigh.
Hey,
We just
hey
started.
Ryan, Ryan, go look at the group me.
Oh.
Milady, what are
Yes.
you doing down here? Down
I thought I
under.
was just chatting with Agate, so. But
Hmm?
I thought I was just chatting with Agate, but honestly, being me, I'm probably keeping an
Okay.
ear out.
You're going around.
Can't believe.
Gosh, this is some weird fog, isn't it? Oh yeah.
Yeah, just kind of chatting, but also keeping my ears perked in case something happens.
Okay, I'd like you to make a perception check then.
Okay. It is not. Do these creatures smell foul?
No, they have no scent at all.
Fine. Just trying to use all my faculties.
Yeah, you just hear the normal ka-thunk ka-thunk of the ship moving along.
Okay.
Some people moving around on deck. Sarah, next to you.
I will strike at it with my flaming cutlass. Or scimitar, because that's the closest thing I think they have.
Okay.
Wait, so that's gonna be this. Ah!
Ooh.
Oh,
You bring the cutlass around, try to cleave through it, but
no.
it just has this utterly ephemeral quality, and your blade slides directly through it, but then the mist parts around it, but then just reforms as it stretches out its claws towards you. The specter that is hovering over Jamra, he doesn't seem to have noticed it yet.
I'm not. I think I'm.
Oh, do you get an extra attack?
Well, I can use Quicken Spell because
Okay.
technically the scimitar attack is the spell. So
Oh, okay. What are you doing?
I'm gonna burn 2 sorcery points and swing again.
You can.
Well, so I'm using the green flame blade spell.
I see.
Yeah. So it just So we'll see if that goes any better. Okay. So does a 23 hit?
Yes, a 23 will hit.
Okay. So it will take. So I'll dump in a 2nd level smite as well. So it will take 7 points of slashing damage.
As you slash through it, it just sort of wavers around it, and the blade seems far less effective than you might have hoped.
It also take 1 point of fire damage. And because I did this inefficiently, well, is it undead? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, and because I forgot that it's 2nd level, $17 points of radiant damage.
Okay. It seems to totally ignore the tiny gout of flame. But the radiance burns at it, searing it, torching it, and it flickers and wavers, and for a moment as if there's just mist there, and it seems to dissipate, but then it reforms and in a rage darts towards you.
Okay, so the fire didn't seem to harm it at all? Or...
No, it was such a tiny amount.
Okay.
It seemed to be just as ineffective as your...
As my sword?
As your sword.
Okay.
The other one, Jamra doesn't seem to have noticed the threat at all. As the creature reaches its arms through the through the actual structure of the ship to attempt to rip into Jamra. Jamra, I don't think his AC is high enough right now. Yeah, no. So he these long thin claws pierce into his back, and for a moment he just sort of staggers there, and he looks confused as he needs to make a Constitution save. Okay, fortunately, he does not lose maximum hit points.
Oh,
but
oh my
the
god.
but
Oh, good. One
but
of
he does
these.
seem to stagger, and then just his uh his expression pales and weakens far more than the light cut that seems to be drawn across his back. And when the fingers retract, there is nothing there but just sickly pale skin, as he takes double damage from the necrotic energy when within this fog.
Oh.
Yes.
Arentha,
That's a
what are you
problem.
doing? You're at the wheel, and you see one of the specters turning towards you. What are you doing?
Uh, uh, so where is the nearest entrance to the lower deck? Is it here? Or is
Here.
that just there? Okay.
Here, there are also
So
like open, like metal hatches to transport large things.
yeah. Okay. I'm gonna whack the ghost, I suppose, to start.
Okay, so you're moving away from the wheel.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going there.
Yes, I'm going right next to it and doing my 2 attacks.
Okay, you slice through it, striking it with its short sword. With your short sword, it seems quite ineffective, but it does very slightly disrupt it.
Okay, I'll roll damage just in case. And then I'm going to look through my things and realize I can do nothing. Okay, I'm gonna run away. 10,
Bye.
15,
Your
parkour.
punch does hurt it, just not very much.
It's half damage.
Um, okay, I guess I'll punch it while I'm there just because I can do that.
Okay,
Sorry.
so you flurrying?
No,
Or
I
you have an
get
extra attack?
2 attacks and then a bonus action punch.
Gotcha.
So that's that damage. And then I'm going to run over to the opening and say, ghosts are attacking! Help! And I'm going to hope that the rest of our party hears.
There's one more level, and then you can punch ghosts.
Ah! Just give me a milestone. And that's my.
Jack, Solaris's initiative was actually 8. It just hasn't been reflected on.
Yeah, I tried
It was
to
8?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
I tried to edit it, but I guess it didn't stick. Yeah.
It's okay.
Is there a way to do battle music? This is very soothing.
I know. I can't do it. That's what I'll do next time. I'm sorry, I'm ASMRing you.
It's very
Zolaris, what are you
relaxing.
doing?
Okay, so question.
Mhm.
Since I am up top here,
Yep.
what's the best way for me to travel back down?
Well, you can climb down the ropes if you'd like. You can also continue to attack from the top. You can see them.
Okay. Would trying to climb down take up like is because there's only a certain amount there's only a certain distance I can move.
Yeah, so
Would
basically
would
while you're climbing, you're going to move at half speed.
okay.
The mast is 30 feet high because it is a tall ship.
Mm,
And that will mean you'll get about halfway down unless you're using unless you're using your full turn to move.
mm. Okay.
Do you
I
have
think
any like crossbows or anything?
do I have any what?
Crossbows or like ranged weapons?
I don't have crossbows, but I do have I
What,
have
lightning bolt?
hornet. Maybe I could try using Thorn Whip. Its range is 30 feet. So maybe I could try getting this one over here near Jamra.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try that. Where did it go?
Okay. So you're gonna make a melee spell attack.
Mm. Mm. Oh shoot. I feel like every time I play, I forget like
I mean,
I
if you
forget how
played
to do
once a week,
everything.
you'd learn all of this inside
Yeah.
out.
So it would be
Yeah.
a d20 plus your wisdom modifier plus your proficiency bonus.
Okay.
And your proficiency bonus is 3 now.
Okay. That's gonna hit
Yeah.
as you whip out with a long network of thorns that sinks into the specter. Give me the damage there. You get 1d6.
Okay.
It is a magic weapon, at least. So. Okay. It does seem to slightly disrupt the being's strange form.
Do what?
Slightly
Do you get the
disrupt.
2d6 for being 5th level, or how are
Yeah.
we just?
She's not 5th level yet.
Okay.
We're gonna do it
This is
later.
a very experienceful encounter.
Experiential learning. That's what we're all about.
Yeah.
The specter drifts through and then uh, swipes out at Arentha.
Cool.
At you.
Yep.
7
Cool.
AC. For some reason, when I click on this, it automatically rolls it hidden.
No.
Okay. It reaches out towards you, but you nimbly duck out of the way. You are standing right over the hatch now, by the way.
Oh, can I like step away? I didn't know that. Can I like move here?
No, I just mean that like if you want to call down, that is an option for you.
I called
Oh,
down
you
on my
did.
turn.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Ghosts!
All the rest of us did.
Oh, well, good because it's Agate's turn.
Amazing. Okay, so Agate is below deck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so keep in mind I'm still below deck, even though I'm moving my character above deck.
Yeah.
Self here, and Eldritch Blast that through the grating on the deck.
Yeah, go for it.
You're so smart, friend.
Thanks.
Ooh, yeah, that's gonna hit. Okay. And is Eldritch Blast? What kind of damage is Eldritch Blast?
I
Force.
think it's force damage.
It's force
Ooh,
damage.
Okay. So it just shoots right up and strikes it, and that's something that seems to physically launch it back slightly. And it hisses as it looks down towards Agate.
And don't
Okay.
forget, you have 2 of them now.
Yeah, you get 2. So what are you doing with the other one?
Oh, I'm gonna shoot it again.
All right. Also,
Pew, pew.
don't forget as that happens, the blast this time, rather than just being that brilliant green, is now a coruscating bolt of red flame.
Ooh.
And this second one will strike it as well. The flame rising up and careening into the underside of the creature, and it just shrieks in rage. At this, Jamar looks somewhat surprised as he sees these bolts of flame rushing up from below deck. The specter that you have fired upon, though, looks down towards you and then just swoops, flying through the grating and on top of you. and then it reaches out with these long, thin arms and tries to gather you up within them, like a perverse mockery of mother and child. 5 AC. So it will unfortunately miss as it attempts to wrap around you, to no avail.
Well, then I'm going to use my movement. Is that cool?
Yeah.
It's still below deck to position myself right here.
Okay. The next specter, the nexter. You're below the deck there. Okay. This one is going to fly over to Trindak. And does an 18 hit you, Trindak?
Yes.
Okay. You need to give me a Constitution save as it reaches out
Oh
and just
shit.
the
Sorry,
the
lightning scared me.
yeah.
Save scared you.
Okay.
Fighting me.
Me. Sorry. So you said a con save
Mm-hmm.
and something else, or that's it.
Just the con save.
All right.
Nice.
All right.
Okay. So for a moment you feel your body withering and failing, but you pull yourself back from that, and you will take a mere 30 necrotic damage
Oh!
as it just reaches into you and tears back, and you see this like filmy glowing substance pulling away from your body, and it greedily sucks it down.
Oh. No.
Awesome.
Okay, so the one in front of Serenixia, enraged at your anger, just attempts to swipe out at you again.
Okay.
That is going to be a 10 AC.
Nope.
Okay. It will be sad, but it will sidle along. Actually, no. It's going to then move down into the wood beneath you,
Okay.
avoiding an opportunity attack because it does not leave your threatened area.
Mm-hmm.
You will see it, Agate, as this creature just descends from the ceiling, looking around until it sees you.
And Agate's not
Trindak.
there. Okay.
All right.
Oh yeah. What can you do?
I continue to give into murderous tendencies.
Nice.
All right.
Jack, is there any way to
You
turn the
know, like
lightning
you
off
do.
just because it's like.
Oh sure. Not work. It's not going to freak you out.
Yeah, it's late at night. I don't need
Okay.
to be freaking out.
Wait, what lightning?
Oh, that
There was a lightning effect.
See it?
that was the first time I'd seen it.
No, yeah, I did not see it.
Yeah,
When
my
I said the
screen just
lightning,
You're
it
gonna
flashed
hit
said,
with
bright
both of
white.
those.
yeah.
You're gonna hit with both of those.
When I got scared by lightning, there was actual lightning outside.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
clarify. All right, that is 16 points.
Wait, are
All
you
right.
hitting yourself now?
No,
I'm so
no.
confused. Okay.
There's a
No,
specter in front of me.
there's a specter.
Okay, cool. That
Okay.
computes better.
Nix, you have just heard the shout down from Arentha that there are apparently ghosts on the ship, and you whirl around. You see that Agate
Yep.
is currently grappling with one. There's another that has descended through the ceiling. What are you doing?
So I actually can see these things.
Yeah, not invisible.
Okay, where is? Because I'm below decks right now, right?
Yep.
So where are the ones that are below decks? Like specifically, because some of
Here,
Or do
that
can
one,
you put like a mark on the characters that are below
I
deck?
can do that.
yeah, that'd actually
fact,
be
there is a
real
thing.
nice.
There is a thing.
That'd be real nice.
Set flight height. See that? That means Jeez.
How's the ambulance?
Damn it, Sarah! What did you do?
It's apparently very eventful outside. What with somebody very loudly revving their motor like an hour ago, no lightning, and now ambulances.
Okay, so those two are down there. What you doing, Nix?
So Nyx is gonna run over to the one that's attacking Serenixia.
Through the ceiling, yes.
Oh wait, it's attacking her through the ceiling?
Yeah, so she's on the roof. She's above you. It has sunk through the ceiling and is like trying to stick its hands
So
through
is
the
it
wood.
technically being threatened?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's snark attack. Or let's at least attempt to snark attack.
All right, give me your attack roll.
Multi-dimensional snark attack. Now that both Ryan and Nyx are awake.
All right, that's gonna hit. Give me your damage. Ooh, all right. You
Nice, so
strike
that is-
deep into it, and you feel a momentary resistance before you pierce it, and all of this energy just shudders and then releases, and the mist dissipates around your blade.
You just dropped one? Hell yeah. Alright, I'm gonna presume that took all of Nyx's movement to be able to
I
get
think so.
to there. So I think from there he's just going to actually hold on. Yeah, that's not close enough. So yeah, he's just gonna stay there, and that's gonna be his turn.
Okay. Milady, you have just seen spooky, scary ghosties descending through the ceiling. There is one that is currently trying to be the Madonna to Agate, and she does not seem to like it. What are you doing?
How far away is it from me? Sorry.
From you, it's right here. So you can get to it.
Sorry, all of that just the whole thing flickered out. Could you just one more time?
You're over here.
Oh,
It's
okay.
over there.
So let me just run up to it since I have no. Jeez, stop, computer. I will switch from panning to selection and move up to it, and I will press upon it some. Okay. I know these are ghosts, so if you call this and say it's not possible, we can talk about it, and I will change my attack. But basically what I want to do is I want to press upon it some flavored ice.
You can certainly attempt to give
Stuff
it a delicious
ice
frozen
through its
treat.
face.
So it's a
Literally
DC
through its face.
So a saving throw?
15, right? And essentially I'm giving them
Okay.
brain freeze.
It rolls a 5 on its intelligence save, so you will hit.
Okay.
Why is that an intelligence save?
I don't know.
Because it's brain freeze.
I literally just said that. I literally just said that. That is exactly what I'm doing.
You need to speak louder.
But you didn't say it in that ridiculous tone of voice, and that's the important part.
Sorry, I'm just
You
trying to
already
see.
did the damage.
No, I know. I'm just trying to see why it won't post the information on it when I click.
It doesn't like the
It doesn't.
description.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that.
Is there a little quote
that's
bubble
frustrating.
that's near it?
No, it's not, which is really annoying.
Yeah, spell attack. Don't post the spell description.
It seems to be somewhat
Bless you.
ineffective. but it will be chilled, and you see frost appearing in the mist in its midst. Aha. Is there any other effect, or is it just the danger?
Yeah.
I think, let me just double check. See, that's why it would be nice to have it post, but no. So I rolled a 3 and a 3. It's just, oh, they have disadvantage on concentration checks until the start of my next turn.
Okay. Cernixia. The creature descended through the ceiling, through the floor, and then disappeared.
Well, doesn't seem too much I can do there then. So, I will move over to flank the one that's attacking Trindak. And I will attack it once more with my scimitar.
Once more with feeling.
Yes. The joy of battle raging.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're gonna hit.
Okay. So, let's dump in a first level smite just to do some disturbing rounds of damage. And then, so there's
Jesus.
What?
Oh boy.
and also 1d8 fire damage.
Kai, paladins
Well,
versus
2d8.
undead. This is literally what they're designed for.
You stride forward, and it's like a lighthouse has just burst through the fog. There is flame and radiance, and the creature just disintegrates as you approach.
Oh, my eyes. Radiant iris burn.
Is there anything you're doing with your bonus action?
Heal my eyes.
My special eyes.
My
My
brand.
brand.
Keep moving towards the others as far as I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The Spectre by Jamra will unfortunately go before he does.
Sorry. There's no chance that Hamid is nearby that I could cast some fire breathing on him, is there?
I don't think Hamid is close enough, unfortunately.
Okay.
He's going to attempt to life drain him. Thankfully, he will roll a 5, so Jamra will not be struck again. And as it tries to reach out, at this point, John slides back on the ground, like struggling to move away. On his turn, he will. Yeah, on his turn, he will create a bunch of mirror duplicates that surround him. And then he will attempt to move out of reach. It will swipe at him when that happens. And it will miss, though, so it will not even pop a duplicate. Gets an 8. Okay. Arentha.
Oh boy.
Did he take some sort of action? He cast a
Mirror
duplicate.
Image.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Well, I'm gonna do my greatest hit. Haha. Ha. Oh boy.
Ha.
Thanks. Okay. 9.
Okay.
And
That'll hit.
then swipe at it again. 11.
That will miss, unfortunately, as its form distorts out of your reach.
Okay. And I'm gonna move back.
Okay, it will get an opportunity attack.
hoo. I won't move back. I will spend a key point and do patient,
Okay.
and that is my turn.
Okay. The Spectre's turn. What does patient defense do?
It gives him disadvantage.
Okay. He is going to stretch out his claws towards you, try to come up as you're nimbly preparing. He rolls a 14 and a 15, or so I guess 14 because disadvantage. Does that hit?
Both miss. Nope.
Okay. It howls in echoing rage through the fog.
Oh.
Zelaris, what you doing?
Oh.
I am going to use Thorn Whip again on
Okay.
the specter next to Milady.
Okay. Give me that attack roll.
Well,
Plus.
cool.
Yeah, unfortunately, your whip will dart out, but it sinks into the fog, and the creature just it's not even really where you thought it was. Agate, what are you
Great.
doing?
Okay, are there any of these lovely ghosties
Did you want to
below?
move?
Unless the Lars wants to move.
No, I think I want to stay where I am. I think I'm safe pretty far up.
Okay.
Are any
Agate,
of these ghosties below deck?
yes. This one has come down to say hello to you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say hello to it with some motherfucking Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Send him a Blue Mountain E card. Okay. And with that coruscating flame.
Sarah, you're at it. You have to add your. Okay, you have been. Never mind. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure you were adding charisma.
It sinks into the mist, and for a moment it seems as if it's going to dissipate again, like all the others. But then it's as if the flame burns out brighter, and it just implodes in on itself, wrapping around the swirling ball of fire and mist until it just goes and disappears into a little bit of ash and dust.
Oh. I don't know where any of the other ghosties are. Well, okay, so then I'm going to use my movement to run here, and my second attack to hit this one.
Well, you're below decks, remember?
Yes. No, I am, but isn't this a grate right here, or is this just a stairs?
That's a stairs. But so you started here, right?
I thought she started here.
Also, with Eldritch Blast,
Oh,
it's
no,
like
you're
two
right.
rays at the same time. It's not one ray and then another ray.
Okay, so that's it.
Yeah, you have to be able to see both the targets.
Okay, so in that case, I'll use my movement to get over here.
Okay. This specter. What does he want to do? He's sufficiently spectral. This one's gonna float over here. He likes his odds on this delicious monk soul.
Oh,
It's
that's
had
nice.
lots of wisdom, lots of opportunities to develop.
It's just a regular
17
attack.
AC.
With disadvantage.
Is that still up? Then in that case, it's a 6.
Well, it's not. It wouldn't be disadvantaged. It would just be a regular.
Well, I took my dodge action.
But it has flanking.
But it has flanking.
Oh,
So
but
it is
So
a
it's not
17.
advantage, but
So 17.
Oh, that just
Okay, make a con save.
roll well.
forever.
Okay. So your maximum hit points do not go down, but you do feel this sickening cold clamminess as it tries to wrap its arms around your throat, and you lose 16 hit points to necrotic damage.
Okay.
You know what? That's not 30.
No, it's not. It's pretty good.
I rolled lower this time.
That's pretty
Nix.
good.
Okay, prove me on this. That's a staircase, right?
Yeah, you can get up there.
Okay, we're gonna go up the staircase. We're gonna pop up here. We're gonna see that Arentha's being flanked. We're gonna take out the bow. And how far is that, real quick?
25 feet. Wait, what?
Oh,
Why am I? Oh, yeah,
That's
you're right. 40
still
feet.
well within. That is still well within the short bow range.
Mhm.
Let's shoot it. Like we did.
Okay, that's gonna hit.
24. All right. Ooh, rough on the sneak attack, but still 11 points halved.
Okay.
I
He
have a
will.
technical question.
Yeah.
It's a ghost, so
Yep.
I'm guessing it flies through the ghost. May I snatch that missile?
No, it did hit, so it does embed itself at least partially in its ethereal substance. If it
Sure.
had missed, there might be a better
Okay.
opportunity.
Then we're gonna
Anything
just
else next?
bonus action move up to the mast right in there, and
Okay.
that's
Trindak.
Hey, bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Let's see. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. I will go there. And do I technically flank him?
Um. Yeah. You would
Okay.
not even technically. You just flank him.
Cool. Once again,
fuck him
murderous
up.
rage. That's 16.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna hit him for both those, and they're both magic attacks as the blade cleaves through them, and it just dissipates as you slice around it. This burning green light emerging from the magical hilt of your axe.
Alright. Oh, their light burns from the hill?
Oh yeah, at this point, yeah.
Oh, nice. So that happens on kill with the.
Hmm.
I like that.
Yeah,
Wow,
and when
I
and
don't like
when you destroy
that.
it,
Yeah.
um, you see that the mist seems to swirl around the blade and then sink down into the hilt itself. And then
Ah,
the writing burns brighter with each one of them that you destroy.
Cool.
so I'm taking their souls.
Milady,
Yes. Who do I see around
what you
me?
doing?
I just.
You see a dark underdeck with lots of confused and worried crew.
Okay, and the stairs are here.
Yep.
Okay, I would like to go up that way.
Okay.
Stand right about there. How badly hurt does this last one look?
That one looks like it's wavering quite a bit. It's the last one. It certainly doesn't seem uncertain about its choices, but it is um it is falling, dissipating.
Oh shoot, where was I? Was I here, I think?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just move forward and thwack it with my longsword.
Well, okay, you actually can do that. That's fine.
Why can't I?
You can.
Oh, okay.
I said you can.
Can I get up two more so I can kind of
Yeah,
flank?
you can be there. You can.
But can I flank?
I don't think you'd have enough movement for that because you'd have to get there.
Okay. Um. Sorry, Today's one of those days.
It's okay.
Okay.
Okay, you're
I
you
think
get
it
hit with
hits.
that? Yes, it does.
For all the damage.
All right. You smack into it with the longsword, and again, it shakes and quivers.
Okay, and then
but it still remains.
who looks most hurt within the 30 feet I've got?
Jamra.
Okay, I will heal Jamra with my invigorating, not my invigorating juices, but the invigorating juices.
Mm.
And that's,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm not making
sorry.
the innuendo, but it's
I
taking a
made
lot of
it.
self-control to not.
Hush. I made it.
Okay. You
So
just chuck a really juicy fruit straight into his mouth. He goes,
I have a
It's so
technical question.
juicy.
Nope.
yes.
So if these, I don't, they haven't. If failing the con, if basically they reduce your maximum hit points by the amount of damage that they do.
If you fail a con save, which no one
Yes.
has yet,
How do temporary hit points affect that?
temporary hit points can go above your maximum.
But if it's reducing your max by the amount that
Correct.
it
wouldn't
doesn't
matter.
actually help you.
If you fail the save,
Right.
yes.
Okay.
But no one has done that.
Okay. Cool.
So, Serenixia, it's your turn.
Because temporary hit points are added on top of whatever your maximum hit points are.
Yep.
So in a way, actually
It
getting
would
your
essentially do
hit points
double damage
reduced-
to people who have temporary hit points.
Yes, because it would get rid of your temporary hit points first and then reduce your maximum hit points anyway.
Yep. Okay.
Well, they
Just
get
check.
hit points.
So can
And
I
I don't know
move
these
up
things.
through there to flank the ghosty?
Yeah, you can move through friendly squares.
Okay.
So you,
Cool. That's 30 feet. Let's try this again. If I get to the right page here. Mhm. Will that hit?
it will.
Okay. So then it's gonna take.
Are you smiting?
I am gonna smite again, yeah.
Do you
Smitten.
want to tank? Do you want to fight? Do you want to class that a Lin still fright? Take up some plate and keep the goblins at sight because you want to make sure they eat this paladin. Smite!
I
That
just
was-
watched those and they made me so happy.
It did do
The whole
smite
series
damage.
is just the greatest goddamn
Ha-
thing on the face of the
That,
earth.
Amazing.
That's sad.
that wasn't just lit.
How much
that
is
was
this smite
radiant.
damage? Tell me.
It's 3d8 radiant.
There you go.
That's
Either way.
radiant.
I like yours more.
Either way, again, the light closes around it and you strike through the creature, and the mist for a moment wavers and then just dissipates. And you are all left alone in the fog that is still cloying and uncomfortable and sickly, but not full of hate anymore.
I mean, that's debatable.
Isn't hate a
We're
state
in
of
it, so
mind?
it's probably still pretty full of hate, let's be perfectly honest.
I think with the combination of all of us here, there's a good amount of disdain in this fog.
That depends. Trindeck, are you still raging?
Yeah, technically, I'd have to come down a little bit.
As you're looking around, you'll see that the fog itself begins to clear slowly, quietly, until you can see a little bit better, and you notice along the shore as you realize that as Arentha has been away from the wheel, the ship has drifted closer and closer and closer to the shores. And there is sort of a notch in those cliffs that you were passing just as that fog descended. And there's this point where it seems as if the jungle meets the shore. And you can see just in that gap, where there is barely any beach and just this thick, lush jungle, embedded, crashed, broken in that is the wreckage of a trading cog that seems almost as if it has been borne aloft, and it is hanging ruined from the wreckage of from these trees. It is broken in half in places, and materials are strewn about it, but it is just lying there amidst the Mahidan shore.
Might I
And
suggest we rather quickly get away from here?
yes, that sounds good. And Arentha will scramble to the and spin it the other way.
You do so.
Valuable equipment and knowledge on that ship.
Yeah, but ghosts were trying to lure us towards it, so I don't.
I believe the ghosts were trying to kill us. That is likely one of
Well,
their victims.
did the shore look shoreable?
That's definitely
Yeah.
that
I
word.
grew up on. I still don't know.
Um, it did look like a ship could moor offshore, but there could be any number of different hazards close to the coast.
Oh, no, it could be. There are any number of different hazards, not least of which the ghosts.
Thank you, Shaggy.
Life, man.
So,
Okay,
what are you doing?
not going there.
Okay.
Very well.
All right then. You all continue onwards. The ship's crew seem disconcerted after that day. Um, some of the jokes and laughter have quieted down a bit, and it's a stern, quiet trip. But the rest of the trip occurs seemingly without too much trouble. You are able to make your way through the coast, and eventually you leave the white cliffs of Mahida behind, turning towards Tideterie. And before long, it has become time for you all um, to hoist the new flag that Nyx has devised. You said, Nyx, that it was a symbol of an arm holding a
It's a
pen
person holding a pendant.
pendant. Okay,
Yes, it's basically a stick figure holding a pendant.
okay. You do so, noticing the sour expressions of several members of the crew when they see this. But you can you can assemble that and proceed in towards shore. Um, you see the outlying islands of Tideterie before the main one itself. The Driftwood Isles, the um, and the famous perilous shores of the Silver Silence. As you sail through the gauntlet of the archipelago that surrounds the main island. Captain Harker guides you carefully while this is occurring, Arentha. Although she hasn't steered the ship personally for any length of time in quite a while, she does take over at this point and cautiously guides you towards the shore. Once the islands are behind you, you can see it, the great green, verdant, jungle encrusted landscape of Tideterie. And then in the center, the ever spooling smoke that rises from the volcano at the heart of the island. You, however, are not approaching the eastern shores where the jungle encroaches on the sea itself. Instead, you are headed towards the port of Rentata, or as uh, as Price will mention offhand, the name it is given by some of the pirates that frequent it, Port Peril. As you sail in towards the land, you see the the telltale signs of human habitation, the bright lights in the distance, and then the massive built-up sprawl of the city. I don't know if you guys can see all of that now.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
big.
Whoa.
when you enter in, you do so as all uh, incoming ships are required to do so beneath the great guns of the fort that guard the entrance to the main harbor. Your flags are examined as you can see men standing on the battlements of the forts lining the volcanic cliffs with they're looking with spyglasses, examining your ship. You've ensured that perhaps the less presentable members of the crew are below deck at that time, but you aren't stopped, and indeed the semaphore waves you onwards. And as you all slowly slip into port with the vast built up mass of the land without laws, the pirate kingdom ahead of you, that's where we're going to leave off for this evening.
Ba, 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 ba,
Bum,
ba,
bum.
ba, 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 ba. Ba, ba,
Next
ba,
time, you
ba,
guys can
ba,
explore.
ba, ba.
Next
Oh
time,
wait,
you
no,
guys
I'm
can
sorry.
explore
I'm
some
sorry.
of
If I
the
keep singing, we're gonna
environs.
get demonetized.
Next time, you guys can explore some of the environs of Tideterie and see if you can track down the mysterious, quote unquote, scale face who had given the captain that perilous treasure.